Back again, back again with another episode of Going Live with the MC, featuring my guy Jay Jetson. We actually just got cut off, so we're gonna try to redo this video. I don't know what the hell just happened. Actually, I do know what happened, but let's get Jay Jetson back in here. Yo, my apologies, bro.
It's all good, brother. It is all good. I know technical difficulties happen like that. It is all good.
Actually, my Instagram is just being stupid. Like last week, I couldn't receive any reels that anyone was showing me. Like they would send it to me, but when I click it, it say unavailable. And now this week, I can't share anything. So I was trying to share the live to more people. So that's why, yeah, it just clocked me out because of that. So,
All good.
um, yeah. Damn, we kind of messed up the whole interview now. Um,
I mean, look, let's just move on like it didn't even happen.
yeah. Welcome back to the remix. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody for tuning back in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask your questions. Share the live with anybody you know, since I can't do it. Um, but yeah, man. So
Hey,
back
mama.
into it. Yeah, we would talk getting into your discography. As far as you having music and promoting it at the shows.
Yeah,
So what's your? Is it easy for you to make music?
not at all. Not at all. I'll
Not at
be straight
all.
up with you.
So
It's not even easy, bro. It's not easy at all. Um, but the funny thing about that is, a lot of times, like it's really just like sparks of creativity that'll happen like randomly. I'll just be walking on the street. I'll have an idea for a song, and I probably won't even have a beat like available for that idea just yet. But what I'll do is like I'll jot down names that'll like stick out in my mind, or like I'll jot down phrases, and I'll just keep them in my notes for like a long period of time. And then when I eventually hear like a beat or something that like that fits around that idea that I had a while back, I'll bring it back. I'll start expounding on it, and we'll just build from there. Oh, of course, my mom will
she
say,
said,
"Yeah, he popped out the womb making music."
"Oh, that's
That's
Mom
not
Dukes."
entirely true.
Shout out Mom Dukes, man. I love the support, man. The family support be everything.
Absolutely, she's been my biggest supporter from day one. And she's still
As
my
she
biggest supporter
should.
now.
As she should.
Mhm.
That was definitely my next question. So do she pop out to shows and stuff like that?
Not as much as she would like to. What's name? She has popped up from a lot of my bigger shows. She was there for the big listening party that me and my bros had, the big three. We were showcasing all three of our big projects we were dropping around the same time, which ironically all those stories, all those albums, they kind of like fit together too because they all happen right alongside each other. But she was there for that show, and she's been like a big supporter for like a lot of the bigger shows that I've been to. So yeah, she's always been down.
That's dope. That's dope. It's
hmm
always good to have that family support. Do you have anybody else in your family that supports you?
what's saying? None. That's well. None. Well, I mean, there are some family members that are alive that are still heavy supporters. My sister, my aunt. My dad before he left was a very big supporter of my music and everything. My grandmother, she never really understood what I was doing was, and she wasn't really a big fan of the cursing. But she always saw the enthusiasm that I had for my craft, and it would always put a smile on her face. So when she was still around, she was a big supporter of it too.
That's a dope. That's dope. That's dope. Well, I ask because a lot of people don't have family support. A lot of people don't have family support. And I think that's kind of sad in a sense because
Mm.
it's like need like we're supposed to change your life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we're doing this for you guys, and it's not to say that you owe us any support, but it would also be kind of messed up if we made it and you would be like, like
exactly,
put your hand over. Yeah, put your hand down. We don't need that. Like,
exactly,
so and I don't want you to support me just because you waiting on a day for me to blow up. I want it to be genuine, so
I mean, it's
um
genuinely sad when like I see a lot of my bros like in any of the groups or teams I'm a part of. Like, it's genuinely sad when I hear that they don't have the support of their family, which is half of the reason why they latch on to me and my mom and everything. Like at this point, me and my mom made the joke that we have adopted at least half of the New York underground music community because they meet my mother one time and they're so like they immediately fall in love with her, and as a separate mother figure. So a lot of them, get that support from my mother as well because she's not only supportive of me, she supports every person that I work with. But I just find it sad that not a lot of people really get that love and support that they've been striving for the longest time. But it does warm my heart though that me and my family can offer that support for my people as well.
Right. Okay, that's dope. That's really dope. Um, hold on, pardon the noise in the background.
All good.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Yeah. So I've been blessed with the family support. From day one. Um, no one in my family had any bad blood towards the music. I mean, my uncle at first, my uncle P, he wasn't really with it, because to him it was like unrealistic. It was like, dude, go be a cop or something like that. But it was like it didn't take long for me to convince him. Like I did a song called "Low Life."
Mm.
There was a song called "Low Life" and "Fatherless," and one day we was in a car, and he just, out of the random blue, he was like, just play me that music. Let me hear why you talking about it so much. And I played Low Life first. And he was like, you got any more music? So then I played Fatherless, and he was just like, okay. And then I think like a week later, the Fatherless video dropped. So I sent him both the Low Life and the Fatherless video. So he watched it and he called me. He was like, you know what? You got my support. Like, I can't even deny it. You good. Like, and yeah, so he's never, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, to a show. But he definitely bought a ticket to one of them. um, you know, but he told me the first time he bought a ticket that he wasn't going to come to the show. Like he said it, like he was like, I'm about a ticket to support you, but I'm not coming to the show. I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate it either way.
Yeah,
And then the second time, he was supposed to come to the show, but then, he passed away, like about, I want to say 2 weeks before the show.
mm,
Yeah, so he never got to make it. But anytime that I invite my family, my mom, my sisters, my cousins, if I can get the kids out, my nieces and nephews, they'll definitely come out as well too.
absolutely.
So, yeah, so I bring everybody out whenever I can.
It's a beautiful feeling getting the entire clan together to like pop out to like one of your shows and everything, isn't it?
That's a fact. And they all love it too. It's like I don't have to force any of them to come out. I'll be like, yo, if I ask them if they got any time, like a free day or whatever the case is, because most of my family is grown. They like in their 30s and all that. They
Yeah,
got kids, so it's like, all right, yeah, if y'all got a babysitter or whatever, pop out. And
exactly.
for the most part, they make it work.
And
So
look, the one thing I will say about you is because for one thing, "Low Life" is one of my favorite tracks from you, like
appreciate that.
by far, hands down. What I will say, you are not just a artist; you're definitely a performer. So when your family does pop out, you make the show enjoyable. Like not just they're not just popping out to just see, oh, it's just homie the homie that's in our family and everything. We'll watch him do his thing and anything like that. It's nothing like that. You actually put on a show. And
That's
I've
a
always
fact.
respected people who can actually perform. Because it's one thing to write a rhyme and say it on the mic and everything. No, put on a show.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. 1 second.
Just gonna say hi to do to everybody that's on here. I'm gonna keep sharing the live on my end. See who else is interested. Da 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 da. If y'all got questions,
Yeah, my bad.
Bougie.
Yeah, so it's definitely good to have the family there. So you mentioned being a good performer. I appreciate that, by the way. You yourself are a good performer, man. And what I like about you is that you You have like this very uncanny way of like getting into your sets.
It's-
So sometimes it's like even in the video that you sent me the other day, you like the beat was already playing and you just walked out, you looked around and you just jumped straight into it. Other times you might start it off with the beatbox or it's been different things that you've done, in my times that I've seen you at shows and stuff, and it's just like, yo, like that's actually pretty dope. So like I try to work on being versatile. Like how can I be creative to start off my sets? So you're definitely somebody that I watch when it comes to that.
Thank you, man. Look, I definitely appreciate that because I definitely do try to like put a lot of work into how I perform, and I normally just start by just going over the people that I looked up to as far as like not actual artists or anything, but actual creators and performers and everything. I look at people that have like very dynamic stage presence and very dynamic abstract thinking when it comes to stage setup and everything like that. So I look at the Tyler creators, I look at the Kanye Wests, I look at the West Side Guns, and I look at the Beyonces and stuff like that. The Michael Jacksons. Those are people that try to transport you away from, oh, I'm at this event or I'm at this showcase. No, I'm in the world of this artist. You know what I mean? So
Right.
with a little bit of time that I have on that stage, I try to make sure that y'all in the world of Jay Jetson.
That's dope. That's dope. Um, so where did Jay Jetson come from? What's that about?
So my uncle William, God rest his
It's
soul,
space
he would
already.
always call me Elroy because he just forever said my head was in outer space. Yeah. Yeah, look, I was a daydreamer as a kid. I was always off thinking about something, starry eyed into the earth, into the sky, just wondering what in the world's going on. And whenever I get called back down to earth, you just start yelling, Elroy, Elroy. So when it came time to actually make my music name, originally it was Jay Jetson, the Astro Boy, and then I
Oh
realized
wow.
that was a hot mess. So then I just shortened it to Jay Jetson.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Um, so how long have you been doing music? When did that start for you?
Next year
Shout
will
out to everybody
actually be my
tuning
10-year
in.
anniversary. Yo, what's good, Kamikaze? Yeah, next year will actually be my 10-year anniversary in the game. I
Oh,
started actually back in high school. In Yeah, and to be honest, I had no real drive to be a rapper specifically. I was mostly trying to be a singer. So mom signed me up for all the performing arts classes and everything, all the choirs and everything. Never went to church choir, surprisingly. Yo, what's good, Millie? Shout out to you. But yeah, never went to church choir, but was in every performing arts program known to man. It wasn't until like my junior year of high school, I believe, that I started rapping randomly because this girl that I was into had asked me to prom. I said yes, but being the showman that I was like, I don't want to just like you know have her ask me to prom and then not make a big deal out of it. Let me give her something crazy to remember before she leaves high school and everything. So
right.
I got my little speaker together. I wrote a freestyle to 50 Cent's 21 Questions. I was
Mm,
agonizing over the lyrics and everything. I wrote a really fleshed out 16 just to ask if she wanted to go to prom with me. And I knew she wouldn't reject me because she already asked me ahead of time. So I was like, she has no real choice but to say yes.
right.
So I waited until the end of choir class, wrote my speaker out, started spitting rhymes and everything. Obviously she was a little embarrassed and she was, oh, it's very sweet of you and everything. But the
Mm,
whole class lost it. They bugged out and everything. It was like, yo, Jay, I didn't know you could rap like that. You got any music, got anything like that? And people were
right.
just asking me all the time if I could rap, like if I had more music and everything. So I got to thinking that my uncle and I talked to my other uncle, well, not my uncle, my godfather. I talked to my godfather at the time. He set me up with a whole small standard home studio setup. Started recording my first freestyles and everything, and from there, Jay Jetson was born.
Mm, that's dope. That's dope. So at what moment did you realize like this was the path you wanted to follow? Like you wanted to step on a stage, you wanted to have fans, you wanted to, make money from the music, you wanted to tour. Like what was that moment?
Um, to be honest, I've always had that drive, but uh, Because let's say mom started me off, with performing from in general, and to say what really got me started wanting that lifestyle, I would have to say, mom's gonna get a kick out of this one. Uh, I have to say when I became the host of my elementary school beauty pageant, and, and here's the thing: the setup of it was, no matter who I picked, all the girls were gonna win. But for some reason, every girl that was a part of that beauty pageant, they kept trying to they kept trying to finesse me like, "Oh, Jay, can you vote for me to as queen of the beauty pageant?" Every girl was doing that back in school, so they was trying to set me up. And when I got on stage with with my suit on, my top hat, my little my little Timberland boots and everything, my black Tims, and everyone was cheering for me as I brought all the girls out on stage and everything, I was like, yeah, this is it now. This is the life I want. I'm made for the stage because if I get to do and look like this every single day, then this is the lifestyle that I want.
No, yeah, I feel that. I feel that. That actually happened to me.
Oh,
The
word?
whole as far as with the girls asking all the girls asking. But this happened in high school at my prom. So, um, I didn't. Let's just say I wasn't like the top selection. As far as like the dudes in high school or whatever.
Same, my
And
brother. Same.
like I feel like high school is where I really like started to blossom. Like where I really started like learning who I was and stuff like that. And that's what people liked about me because I was just mad genuine and authentic. I didn't really get into anything that I wasn't supposed to get into. I mean, I was doing dumb shit, but like
I mean,
for
we
the
were
most
kids. Don't
part,
worry at all.
yeah, 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 yeah. For the most part, what I'm saying, I was on top of my game. And but around prom season, all the girls that like wouldn't even talk to me any other day. They was all running down on me at like different parts of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And like I started to realize it was weird because it was these four girls that were all friends. Like, and you know how everybody is in high school, it's all clicked up. Everybody got cliques.
Exactly.
So yeah, like, and it was these four girls. We just knew that they were friends. Like everyone saw them, whatever. How all four of them come up to me at random different times of the day to ask me to take them to prom, and I didn't tell neither one of them yes. Even the one that I really wanted to say yes to, I didn't. So they all went. I guess whatever they went, they met up and they talked about it. And at lunch, they all came after me or whatever. And like, it was at the table and it was like, they wasn't like hitting me or whatever, but they like kept pushing me like, yo, why you not taking me to prom, you bum ass?
Yeah.
Like kept yeah. It was just mad funny though, but like I feel like usually when it's when you're in a position of power, people want you to like them more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a weird situation, and I feel like that happens as artists as well too. Like, do you have any people that you feel like how can I say it? They glaze a little bit too much.
Uh, I
Like every
I would.
time you see somebody, they like, yo, that's Jay Jetson. Yo, let me get an autograph. Yo, you know what? This is my favorite. Like everything about it is just like, you know what? Come on, bro. You a little too much now. Like just slow down. Like I get it. I get it. You like what I do, but chill. Like.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a friend that goes a little overboard with how dope I actually am. Shout out to my bro Chucky if he's on here or not. But he does go a little ham on like how crazy he gets over like not just my music but me and my bros music. He's forever calling us the three masters of music, which is a wild name for me because I still look at myself as a youngin in this game. But he's forever calling me Master Oogway because he feels that I'm like this almighty sensei of music and he's this lower life form. When the reality of it is he's just as nice as I am and has the capacity to be better than I am. But you try telling him any different. But as far as like actual moments that people are just like bugged out, I do have one specifically that sticks out in mind, and it's still the funniest thing that's ever happened to me. Um, back in I think yeah, back in high school, there was this guy that there was a whole group of kids that did not really bang with me. They were picking with me. I was a bully kid. What can I say? But fast forward years later, I'm at this Phony People concert with one of my bros, and and the drummer from that band, he comes out to actually greet everybody online. So he's talking with people on the line. He gets up to me and my bro. He's chatting it up with me. We're talking about how excited we are to see the show. Out of nowhere, one of them same bullies who hasn't seen me in years, he pops up. He's like, "Oh my God, you Jetson. Yo, bro, I don't know if you remember me, but we used to go to school together. Yo, bro, you the truth, man. I love your music so much." Keep in mind, the more famous person is right next to me, losing it right now because he thinks that he's the one that's supposed to be more noticed than anybody, and he should. He just got through doing a Tiny Desk with Megan Thee Stallion not too long ago, but he's sitting on the sideline watching me get the whole fan treatment and everything. But little does he know, this is from a whole person that did not fuck with me years ago, and we're all just laughing about it online and everything. So yeah, that's one of the biggest That's probably one of the biggest like glaze moments that's happened to me.
What's your biggest star moment? Like what's a time where maybe you released a song, or maybe you performed on stage and like the whole crowd was tuned in, and maybe you heard people singing your lyrics, or like what was that like for you?
There's a few moments I can think of, but one that recently stood out to me was the listening party that me and my bros put on for our respected albums. When it was my turn, when it was my go to present what Brooklyn Butterfly was before it came out, the crowd reaction was more than anything I could have asked for. And if you could ask my mother like how that was seeing it for the first time. Everybody singing my lyrics and everything, like doing all the ad libs and whatnot. They were losing their minds from it, man. And it almost brought a tear to my eye because my mother, who doesn't really get a whole lot of moments to see like people fan out for her son. Like she's seen me do my thing on stage, but she's never seen like the fan aspect of it. To see everybody lose their mind over my music like that, and to have such like genuine emotional feedback from it, it was probably it was probably something that like almost made me break down and cry right then and there, especially with the trials and tribulations that album presented with them, what presented itself. But yeah, that right there was like the biggest fan night I could ever think of.
Yo, them listening parties be everything, man. To be real with you,
For real.
so I was fortunate enough to do two of them this year. I did one here in New York and I did one in London, because the album has London features on it. So I thought it would be dope to go out there and do one as well too. And the one in New York, that was super dope because I'm not gonna say I struggled, but for most of the time in my career, as far as doing shows, like I wasn't able to ever bring out like 10 people. Like and I was doing a bunch of those shows where it was like you gotta sell tickets.
Yeah.
You gotta sell at least 10 tickets or whatever. And it was always frustrating, that I couldn't, get like 10 people to pop out. And it wasn't frustrating because they wouldn't pop out, but it was just pressure, like to sell the tickets, and it's like I can't force people to come out if they don't want to come out. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me enjoy the show, but then promoters will be doing some weird shit. But for the one in New York, I bought out 75 people. 75 people came out to see me. So and by the way, I was one ticket from selling out. I don't know what made me put 76 tickets, but I did, and it was only one that was left. When I checked the ticket joint.
It's always some semantics. It's always that tiny minutia that can never get us over the top. It's always that. I hate that.
And when I did the one in London, this one was so crazy. So I'm saying at least 36 hours before the show, I only had 5 tickets sold. 5 tickets. So I was going over to my homeboy crib, to the studio, to rehearse and stuff like that, because we did like a rehearsal at Pirate Studio the day before. But they didn't have the equipment, so we had to go like OD ghetto. Like we had to plug the phone up to our Bluetooth speaker, and we had to the mic wasn't working, so we had to act like the mic was working and all that, you know. So it kind of ruined the moment because we really wanted to like be like in the atmosphere of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a big show to me. It was something that I really needed to like really be ready for, you know. So uh, we the very next day, you know, when I was going to his crib, he met me at the bus stop and we went to a chicken spot. I believe the reel is still on my Instagram.
Mm.
And while I was waiting for the food, I just caught the bright idea. I was like, yo, let's just shoot a reel right here. By the way, I actually had a friend with me. So he didn't make it to the chicken shop yet. He came like literally after we shot the
Right, right.
reel. But this dude, he flew from the Netherlands to come meet me in London. He actually came to meet me in New York earlier this year. But then he met me in London again, and we was on the way to this dude's house. So yeah, I was waiting for the food or whatever. So we ended up shooting the reel when the chicken was done, and I'm just walking out like yeah, like I got an order of the show date, the show title and stuff like that, and I was just like making it funny, and I was eating chicken
Yeah.
and whatever, and then like to my surprise, like I posted it, and I kid you not, in 2 hours, like it just blew up. Like everyone bought tickets to the show. Like literally, I'm watching the alerts on my phone. Someone just bought a ticket. So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like that's all it took was for me to just create like a little, So I thought that was
It's
really
moments like
dope.
that you got the
Um,
juice.
hey, but it's like the thing is, and shout out to my boy Cloud Ray. He was on a prior episode. He told me, I'm gonna get to the question by the way in a second, classic. But give me a second. Um, he where was I at? Sorry.
You said something about your bro Cloud Rave.
Oh, Cloud Ray. Yeah, sorry. He basically said to me the other day, like, you have more eyes on you than you realize, and it like I be seeing it sometimes, but it's like after he said it, it became more and more present. Like people just started doing certain things, and I was just like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like, I actually bumped into a homie I ain't seen in like 2 or 3 years, and he just went off like, "Yo, I seen everything you doing. Boom, let me know your next show." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Yo, this is crazy!" Like so stuff like that. But again, you never know the type of eyes you have on you. You feel me? So you doing
Absolutely.
your thing. Don't ever feel like it's going unnoticed, no matter how minor the progress may seem or whatever the case is. And you about to hit your 10-year mark, and I believe everyone that hits their 10-year mark, that's when they really start like seeing everything click. Like 10,000 hours, bro. 10,000 hours. That's what they say. It takes 10,000 hours.
For real.
So shout out to Classic the writer. He
Yo, what's
got a
good,
couple
class?
questions for you. First question: at what point in the creative process did you decide that the title was right, the lyrics were right, and the production was right? That's a great question.
So I'm guessing he's talking about my most recent album, Brooklyn Butterfly. Um, Shoot. So
No,
the
no, I think I don't know if that's specific, but I think he's just saying in general, like when you create something.
in
Yeah,
general,
exactly.
well, I guess it really depends on like where you are in life at the time of like creating that current project. It's really just a lot of things need to like really happen to you and really line up and like get organized at a certain point for the title of something to really like hit you, that kind of like encompasses everything that project is about, or what that project puts you through. You know,
Mm,
so because when it came to my album, like the last album that I dropped, I was living in Brooklyn for about a good few years, and that was like my first real taste of like independence and freedom. So
mm,
so when I was able to just like live on my own and everything, my friend, not my friends will tell you I was a hoe. I was a heavy hoe in Brooklyn. I was doing a lot, unnecessarily a lot. Actually, I got some stories that will probably come out at some point down the timeline. But just the entire timeline of me living in Brooklyn from beginning to my end time there, it just encompassed really growing my wings as a man, and
mm,
going through that entire process of really just becoming who I was meant to be. So yeah, Brooklyn Butterfly was just like was the entirety of that metamorphosis in Brooklyn. And when I finally like grew my wings, I came back home, and that's what the project became.
mm. Dope, dope. Okay. Second question. what inspired you on this album, sonically? I'm guessing he's talking about Brooklyn Butterfly. So sonically, what was
Oh,
the thing for you?
I would say the Sonics when it came down to it, my biggest inspiration was a lot of what Damn was on Kendrick Lamar's album. Because it was a lot of therapy, a lot of like introreflection, and a lot of like healing for the most part. It was also a lot of Mr. Morale that inspired me for that album too. As far as the healing aspect of it, and what that became. And then on the whole aspect of it, because I'll be honest, like I had to tell the stories where they were. So I did get a lot of inspiration from like Smino, from Toby Lou, from early Joey Badass, because he was moving a little reckless back in the day too. So I needed something to really tell the story of, the rise of a hoe and the fall of the hoe. So that's how it really ended up being.
Toast to that.
Toast to that.
Man said the rise of the hoe and the fall of the hoe. That's different.
It's real though. It's genuinely real because after a while, like, you're not supposed to, everyone's supposed to have their hoe phase, but no one's supposed to stay there. Because when you stay there, you do a lot more damage to your soul and a lot more damage to what love really means to you. So, I like the idea was I was supposed to be, moving as crazy as I was for about a year, and then I was supposed to stop. But then a year extended into like 2 years, 3 years,
Mm.
and it started messing with me internally. And after a while, I just really realized that this was not where I need to be at. This is not where I need to stay at. Because if I stay here, I'm gonna do more damage to who I am in the long run, and it's gonna mess up with the people around me. And when I do try to find that one that I want to be with, it's gonna mess her up even more than it messes me up.
Mm. That's dope. Okay, okay, okay. See, I'm loving these answers, man. You really prepared for this, huh? Even though you ain't know what was gonna be asked. I like that though. Like the energy is like, you be ready for shit.
Of course,
Shout out to Reflective Transcendence.
yo,
Blessings.
what's good? What's good?
Uh, last question from Classic that I see. What's your personal favorite song on the album, and which song do you want people to fall in love with?
My personal favorite song on the album is, and well, this actually this question, well, both questions actually fall into the same song.
Mm,
Because the song that I really want people to fall in love with and to really understand is the song called "Bedroom Swerving," aka the bitter pill. It's the full realization that you know I am where I am in that point in my life, but I don't want to be there anymore, and it's getting to a point where it's starting to become monotonous. Like bouncing left and right between different girls and different bedrooms and everything. It's becoming a monotony. It's becoming monotonous. That's what I was trying to say. Becoming monotonous, and I just didn't want to be there anymore. But the second half of that song, it also revolves around, okay, I want to find love, but like for some reason, whenever I want to find love, I want and I get it, I want to be a hoe again. But when I end up being a hoe, I want to find love again. It's funny when you look at it, but it's a really a crazy concept when you like are actually going through it because you keep flip flopping between these two emotions, and you're just trying to really ask yourself, what in the world am I supposed to do?
that's an interesting confession, honestly. It's not easy to be vulnerable about certain things. You get what I'm saying? So I commend you on that. Classic commends you on that as well. Um, it's really, yeah, it's really a lot when you can be open with someone or the world in this case, because a lot of people are going to see this, the people that's watching it now, who don't know you, and that's another thing. You're bearing your heart out to people that don't even know you. I mean, you're already doing that with the music, but then when they start hearing backstories, it's just like, oh damn, I didn't know that. Like, so and
I
not
got
for me personally. Sorry, go on.
I feel like I have to be genuine because it's best when you're creating art. A lot of the best art comes from places of vulnerability and places of pain, in my opinion. Um,
Hmm.
I feel like when you finally like learn to embrace all the BS that goes on inside you and learn to put it to paper or put it to color, you end up making some of your best work. Instead of just making work that people could vibe with, that people could dance to, and everything. Sure, try to keep that same energy, but I feel like people will genuinely respect an artist more when you're real with yourself and your art reflects how real you are with yourself.
100%. I feel you that. Reflective Trendance wants to know what sign you are. Transcendent, sorry.
Big Aquarius, y'all know the vibes. Big Aquarius, February 8th, 1997. Big Aquarius vibes.
Oh, oh man, son, big Aquarius vibes. Heard you. Um, so do people judge you for your zodiac sign? Like
Oh,
when you say that, they're like, "Oh man, another
absolutely.
Aquarius."
Absolutely. I feel like Aquarius have gotten more hate in the past few years than any other sign. And I'll never understand fully.
I
But the
disagree.
biggest thing that people have said about Aquarius is that we are too nonchalant. We're too chill. And they forever say that we play victim. But you can ask any one of my people. I'm for the most part the most chill person you'll ever meet. I'm in the background. I try to be in the background, and when it actually is my time to like pop out and show them, then I pop out and show them. Simple as that. But yeah, I feel like Aquarius have got like super big hate this like for the past few years, and I'm just trying to navigate, man. I'm just trying to get through life.
I feel that. I feel that. I mean, as we all are, man. It's a tough world out here, man. Um, Definitely. So yeah, let's get into some of your work that you got, man. You dropped. See, this is the crazy thing. You dropped like what is it? 4 projects this year.
I'm currently on my way to dropping 7 because the 7th one comes out. This is kind of an announcement. The 7th project, which is the deluxe edition of Brooklyn Butterfly, drops this month, in December 25th. But yeah, as it stands right now, I'm at 6 projects.
Uh, I see Nerds in Class. Now I'm back to our regularly scheduled disaster. These are singles, Trouble Sleeping and Villains Do It Better.
Well, they all
You
on
got
Brooklyn
the good.
Butterfly, so that didn't really count.
Oh, okay. You got the good, the bad. So I didn't get to listen to that project, by the way.
Mm.
Um, but you got the good, the bad, and the kaijus. Uh, that's an interesting project, by the way. Um, you got Villain Enterprises,
Yep.
and then you got Brooklyn Butterfly.
Yep. And then what's that? I count the Goat album, the Monstars from the Ghost Incorporated, as another project of mine because not only was I the co-executive producer on that project, I helped produce a lot of those beats on that album, and I'm also featured on a few of those songs as well.
Right. It doesn't show here. My fault. So
It's all
I
good.
didn't
We
catch that
set it
in
up to
there.
where it's just on the Goat page for the most part. It's on the
Oh,
Ghost
got it,
Incorporated
got it,
page
got it,
solely.
got it. Um, okay, yeah, so that's 6 right there. Damn, okay, my man is doing 7. Um, hot, damn, that's so. How much time do you have to work on music? Like, what do you like? What again? What's your creative process like? Are you like on the go with it? Like, do you like dedicate a specific time of your day to it? Like, how does that
Um,
go for you?
it's a mixed bag. I'll be completely honest with you. It is a mixed bag because I'll be honest with you. A lot of the projects that came out this year, a lot of them were like at least 3 years in the making. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I know Brooklyn Butterfly, the Monstars, Villain Enterprises, the Good, the Bad, the Kaiju. All of those were like 3 years in the. Oh, actually, every project that came out this year was 3 years in the making because
mm,
a lot of BS happened where files got lost and sessions crashed and people we stopped messing with certain people and certain people stopped messing with us. It
mm,
became a really long, arduous process to really get any music out, so when it
mm,
came down to it, and when I saw my Spotify rap last year, I was just like, okay, that's it. I'm tired of sitting on my hands. Every song that I'm working on is coming out this year. Every project I'm working on is coming out this year, or die trying. So I was lucky to be able to get all those projects out like, at the time that I wanted them to. But as far as the creative process, it's really just whenever I just have an idea. If I'm on the bus, I'm like, I randomly hear a beat, I start writing to it maybe. If someone gives me a beat or something that I'd write to right then and there. If I have like a stockpile of songs, then I'll set up a session and go through every single song until they're done. If I need more work, and I'll come back to it. It's really just work on what you can and try to make the best art you can possible, and you'll eventually know when it's ready.
So, how easy is it to get you on a song? Can I just like randomly message you one day and say let's work?
It's all. That's literally all it is. You hit the nail right on the head right there. All people have to do is hit me up, send me a beat right then and there. I'll knock it out. If they want me to wait to record it, and so they can set up a session, I'll wait. If they want me to record it right then and there, I got the mic right next to me. I got my computer right here. I record it and send it over to them.
So,
And and then that's basically it.
there's no boundaries, no criteria.
No, I'm real. I feel it's best to get on as much as possible, so that you could, just so that more people can hear you quicker. And also, it's also due to the fact that if certain people try to get me on a song, and I know that I can like work better than them on the song, then I'll just do it anyway, just to steal their fans.
Right. But don't you think that sometimes that could be a curse working with
It
everybody?
can be. It can be. I'm not gonna front. It has kind of done more. It kind of has done some harm, but I'll look at it this way. uh, a wise man once said, "There's no such thing as bad publicity." So I'm willing to work with anybody just to elevate myself as little as the stepping stone might be, or as massive as the stepping stone might be. I'm still willing to work with everybody because if the vision is there. Or if the vision is not there, then there's a way to achieve something out of it. You can't get a diamond out of coal, no matter how big the lump of coal is.
Mm, I feel that. I feel that. I'm not gonna say I'm like reluctant to work with anyone, but for me, it's more meticulous. I feel like I gotta have chemistry with you. You know, and it doesn't have to take years.
Mm,
I've worked with people that I've met, like a day ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all again, it's all about the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? And chemistry is energy. Energy speaks.
what's up?
So it's honestly something that I've been wanting to do. Like I actually have a list, a long ass list, that I update. I want to say like at least every 2 or 3 weeks of
Mm.
artists that I plan to work with. And I be hoping that I be hoping I can make it happen. But a lot of times, I guess I get shut down sometimes because when I do message the artist, they be on some Hollywood shit.
Mm.
It's like, oh, send me the song completely done, or I need $500 for a verse, or you got to sign a contract to work with me, or I got to ask my manager, and it's like, really, bro, like, you know. No, and I'm not gonna say I'll be going for high profile people, but like when I see someone that's talented, it's not my fault that they just happen to be on a more, sophisticated route with this.
Exactly.
Like a lot of artists that I know do have managers. A lot of them be around celebrities and stuff like that. A lot of them do like certain things, and it requires them to act a certain way, and I don't get it. But it's like, hey, if it works for you, then cool. But
I've never
I'll just
understood it.
yeah, so it's been a lot of times. Like I actually have a song right now that was supposed to make the album, but the artist doesn't want to release it because it's their first time in the studio, and you know how that goes. They don't like their voice when they first hear it.
Uh,
So the song is beautiful, but they don't want to. They don't like their voice. And then also the engineer was on some weird shit. Like he he basically. Uh, how can I say it? He basically tried to finesse, like get like perpetual license money out of us.
uh,
And yeah, and it was messed up because it's like the dude met me, and it was kind of like one of those moments where it was like, yo, I like what you're doing, man. You're really talented. Like, he met me at a show. I performed, and he just walked right up to me after I performed and just started freestyling for me. And I'm like, okay. Like, so he was like, yo, let's work. He was from Pakistan, and like, he had like this instrument called a rhubarb. It's like a wooden guitar, but they're like, it's made from trees, and it's like basically crafted from like your personality. So it's like a Pakistani thing. Like, it's something that they do out there in the Middle East.
Interesting.
You know, yeah. So that's what interested me. So when he did all of the freestyling, I was like kind of confused, but I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
But he was
it'd
trying
be
to
like that.
impress me. He was trying to impress me because he sings or whatever. So he was like, I can rap too, and he's like started freestyling. I'm like, all right, like, we could have just talked about this later, but cool, we could do it here.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we ended up. There was another artist that I ended up meeting out there. This was in London, by the way. I met them in a group chat. Funny story. The mom was running the Instagram account,
Mm.
and yeah, so is a kid actually. I think they're 17 now. But yeah, so they asked in the group chat like, "Hey, how do I get in the club? Like, you have any suggestions?" And I was like, "A fake mustache." And from there, like, just like a relationship just came out of that. The mom hit me up and we were just
Word.
talking. I'm thinking I'm talking to the artist the whole time. Like, I checked the page. I'm like, yo, this artist is dope. Like, but I could tell they were young. So it's like, but for them to be like having this type of conversation with me about music, I'm like, okay, like, it didn't dawn on me, but it like, so then they finally revealed one day, hey, I'm actually the mom. I run the account. My child is too young. I don't want them to deal with social media. And I'm like, okay, this just took a turn.
Exactly.
But
Wow.
anyways, they funded the whole session. The mom, she funded the whole session. She paid for it. She booked the Uber for the engineer and all that. So basically funded the session for him as well too. Gave him food, ordered some KFC for the dude. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
shoot.
Like, yeah, like made sure he was good. And when I tell you like this dude was like super professional, like it blew my mind. I've never worked with an engineer like this. Like the dude walked in, he had a conversation with us, and he was like, I got the perfect beat. Boom, pressed it, and we was like,
Mm.
oh, like okay, like just blown away. So then it was like the way he had it labeled on like on the laptop or whatever,
Yeah.
on a monitor. It was like first verse, second verse, third verse, and then under those it was like trial verse, second trial verse. What is said under that? I think it was like intermediate verse, and then it was like expert verse. So the way that went was basically you practice your verse. It don't matter if you mess up. Then
Right.
you do it again, but you got to be sharper. This
Right.
time you're doing it without your phone or your notepad or whatever you wrote in because like you're supposed to remember after the first two,
Hmm.
and then the fourth one you run straight through one take. You can't mess up.
That's interesting. That's really
Right.
interesting.
So yeah, it was a really crazy challenge. We was there for like a good 6-7 hours. Like he really put us to work. Like
Wow.
but what was more interesting was that the singer, the young child, he had her do like he had them do like a breathing exercise. It was more like like buzzing like a bee kind of thing.
Mm.
So they was doing like this for like a good 20-30 seconds. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just interesting. And then we just got into the session and just started doing all of that. But case in point, at the end of the session, I asked for the instrumental and all of the extra files. So he gave me everything but the instrumental file. So we have this song, just not the instrumental. So
That's
going back
dumb.
to the artist, yeah, going back to the artist not liking their voice, he took advantage of that, and he felt like we needed him. So at that point, funding the session just wasn't enough for him. Now you got to pay me for my services.
Ah.
It turned, yeah, so it turned from him being a fan of the talent and actually wanting to work to now this is a business. Now I'm this multi-platinum producer from Pakistan and I've worked with this artist and that artist and I got this and that. So it was just like, yeah, so those are the reasons why the song never made the album and we didn't, really get to release it. I still want to release it so bad. I'm not gonna hold you because we don't have contact with this dude no more,
Right.
and I don't think he even paid attention to my page, so I don't think he's gonna find the song. You know,
That
but yeah,
sucks so
yeah,
badly.
yeah. It's just really it's wild. But it's one of my favorite songs to date because it's different. It's not like a typical rap song. Like it's really like a soundtrack to like a classical movie or something like that. Like I can actually send you the song after this, you know.
So
But
love to
um,
hear it.
yeah, you know, so you know, it just be shady stuff like that when you're working with people. You got to deal with so many loopholes, you know, and you just got to be ready for that.
True, true.
Um, but I think it also depends on the type of artist you deal with as well, because you know, then you have some people who are just like a little too hungry to work, you know, so they'll just jump on any track, you know. Not to knock the ones that want to work, you
Right,
know, and will hop
right.
on the track. There's a difference. There's a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. I can definitely
But
understand that. But like, yeah,
yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's crazy out here, man. Definitely in this world.
for, look, real talk. I've dealt with my fair share of snakes and shysters and hustlers and whatnot. It's I've learned over the long amount of time over the, like look, I almost quit the game about a few times because of like messed up
Mm,
things that have happened to me, as far as like people pulling the rug out from under me or like giving me or pouring honey in my ears and promising false things that never popped up or anything like that. Shoot, I literally had to go to court for a tour that never happened because they were talking about getting me on to opening for back when Drake and Migos were going on tour. I
mm,
was supposed to open for that, or at
mm.
least that's what they were talking about. But then it turned out to be one of them one of them the open for this
Fire
show type of,
festival.
yeah, yeah, the Fire Festival type deals or the road to the NBA Finals type shows that people be
Ah,
advertising.
hate those.
Yeah, it became a hot mess, and I invested like so much bread into it. Not even just like paying them like the security fee to get onto the show and everything, but I
Mm,
had talked to so many fashion labels and corporations to get myself sponsored while on that show, so so I can get some money off of the back end. And when that
mm.
show ended up not being what it was supposed to be, them people ended up like never working with me ever again. So not only did it cost me
That.
money on that end, it cost me professional connections.
But how is that your fault?
And what's the same? When they look, they need their sacrificial lamb. They needed someone to blame, and since they couldn't, and since they don't know the guys that was messing with me, they just outright blame me.
Mm.
So that cost me connections on the back end, bread on the forefront. So I had to take all of them to court. I was lucky to get my money back and everything, but I almost quit the game right then and there after that. After the judge banged his gavel, I was like, "Yo, I'm done. I'm not getting taken advantage of. I'm not doing this no more. That's it." That literally almost happened.
And how long ago was that?
I would say this is maybe like 5 years ago.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, it was about 5 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago.
mm. And and what brought you back? Like what brought you from like what revived you?
I see. This is this is when I say like those little things like really do numbers on your soul on your soul. It really the little things do numbers to your soul.
Yeah.
I did an open mic randomly with Mike and the rest of them and the rest of my team, and the kids the kids' parents ran up to me one day.
Mm,
Well, not one day, ran up to me after I got off stage and they was like, "Yo, my kids don't really listen to hip hop like that because I try not to like get them into all that stuff. But my
mm,
daughter loves you. My daughter loves the music the music that she heard from you and everything. Is there any way that we can take a picture with you or like you can put us on the rest of your music or anything like that? Because you do such an inspiring, you make such amazing music, and my daughter would not stop talking about you the whole night." And the little girl
right.
couldn't have been no more than 6, 7 years old, but she was so happy to take a picture with me and everything, so happy to see what I do and everything. And from there I was just like, if I'm able to like change hearts and minds like that and like really give kids inspiration to be what they want to be like that, then I can't quit. There's no reason for me to quit. The corporations can try to beat me down all they want, but inspiring the children and giving light to that little girl's eyes like that made all of that worthwhile.
Nah, that's really beautiful. For real. So, I mean, you never know sometimes, man. Sometimes it just, it really be tough, to keep going in this, and I never had a moment where I wanted to give up. I'll be real with you. I never ever felt like I wanted to quit. But it's been a lot of moments. I'll be real with you. It's been a lot of moments where I'm just like, yo, this just can't keep happening.
Yep.
Like, yo, why? Like, what's good? Like, am I not meant for this? Like, but yeah, I just never wanted to give up because I just felt like, making music was doing something. It was doing something. Like, I was getting out a lot of love, a lot of places, and when these things was happening, I had to think eventually, just like, yo, am I gonna give up just because I have a few bad moments, or am I gonna remember all the good moments? Because I feel like I've had a lot of good moments in my career as opposed to bad ones. It's
Absolutely.
just that the bad ones were heavy.
Yeah.
It was just the things that was like, yo, I can't. Like, this is unforgivable. Like, we just can't come back from this. Like,
Absolutely.
but
It really be the moments that weigh on your soul. Like it really makes you question, damn, is it worth getting out of bed again to do this all over again and then have the same exact bad moment happen or have something worse happen? I definitely understand where you're coming from with that because like the moments that get dark, they get really, really dark. So you really have to like hold on to those bright moments.
dope, dope, dope. So yeah, I wanted to get back into your projects. The first one that I wanted to talk about was Villain Enterprises. Um, I like that project because it's you and Ario unknown.
Yes, sir.
I know Ario since he was 15.
Damn.
Since he was 15 years old. And here's the crazy part. Like, here's the crazy part.
Mm,
I was working with an artist named Bugs. Like, we wasn't a duo, but like, people started to pit us as a duo because we made so much music together and it was like really dope. It sounded like we was really, you know, in there, so
right.
um we we he used to be connected to this chick that was working in this group called, I think it was the Bushwick Monsters or something like that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember them. He talks about
don't
them a
quote me
lot.
on that, but yeah, yeah. I think it was the Bushwick Monsters or something like that. The Bushwick Collective, that's what it
Yeah.
was. Bushwick Collective, yeah. Um, so me me and Bugs ended up doing a remix to Logic, Young Jesus, and we
Mm.
called it Back to the 90s, which was the first song that I ever did a music video to.
Wow.
Um, and when we started like posting the video or whatever, Ario hit me up like randomly. He was like, "Yo, check out my freestyle that I did to the beat. It was inspired by you." And I'm like, "What? Like, I don't even know this kid." Like, but when I heard the freestyle, I was like, "Yo, this is actually dope."
Mm.
So I ended up going to, I believe, Legendary Cyphers. This is around when I first started going,
Mm-hmm. I'll
and
see.
I bumped into him. He was there, and I met him there, and we just chopped it up or whatever for a little bit. Like when he saw me, it was like he froze. He was like, "Oh shit!" Like, this nigga's here. Like, so, but by the way, I couldn't freestyle for nothing. I was trash at freestyling. Like I'm still not the best at it. I could come up
Same.
with some heat, but like,
Look,
yeah, it's not.
same.
Yeah, it's not the best. But that was my thing. I was going to the Legendary Cyphers. I was going to EO Dub. I was going to all those places just to learn how to freestyle, just to be better at, creating on the spot. Like, I just wanted, that was my thing. I was like really driven to just be a versatile artist. I wanted to be able to like create and do things without like stressing my mind for it, because I'm not going to lie, it's not difficult for me to write songs, but a lot of times, I don't really, I don't be inspired, but I don't force it either. If I wake up and I don't feel like writing music, I'm not gonna write music.
Mm.
Straight like
Real.
that. Um, but yeah, so I've known Ariel for a long time, and it's dope to see that he's growing and he's really still going in this, and he's meeting someone that I've met along the journey as well. And it's always dope to see two people that I've met, just working together. So talk about this project. What made y'all sit down and say, you know what, we need to put something out?
So like the same way you met Ariel through LC and everything, like physically meeting him at LC, like that was literally my first time ever meeting him in general, because
Mm.
Mike Mizzle
He's
and
still
the rest of the
goes
ghosts,
there to this day.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But
consistently.
look, I was literally out there what last week? Yeah, I was out there last week. Like I just got through doing an interview with them, and I just got through doing their concept videos not too long ago. Um, but yeah, I met Ariel through LC and everything. Me and him, like, we clicked instantly. Shout out to my worst enemy. Like we're brothers and everything. I kill for him and everything, but I hate him so much. That's my worst enemy right there. But yeah, me and him, we've been rocking with each other for like a long time. Outside of LC, we got him into the goats like maybe a couple years ago, and he started flourishing around us and everything. And
Mm.
then I noticed that we had a good, like, we had a love of villains. Obviously, he had a love for Broly from Dragon Ball Z. I had a love for Cell from Dragon Ball Z.
Mm.
And we started bonding over just our respected villain mindsets when it came to hip hop.
Mm.
And after a while in the process of making the Year to Get Back and everything, which is that span of projects and everything that dropped this year,
Mm.
um, like me and Ariel wanted to make songs together, but we didn't know where to start with. Like we have
Mm.
like a laundry list of songs on the back burner that have yet to come out yet. But I was just like, you know what? Let's just make a duo tape. There's no reason for us not to. Like, you're in the process of you just now got on streaming platforms and everything. Why not just do a duo tape together? And we just started
Right.
playing around with the idea like a few years ago until this year when everything just came to a head. We was like, okay, we're just gonna lock in, finish all the 6 songs that we want to put on there, and yeah, we and from there it just ended up making magic. We didn't realize that we worked so well together until we started really flowing on those songs.
That's dope. And you know what? That be a crazy part. And that's why I have the list that I have. Because I know that the day that I get to work with these artists, yourself included, I know it's gonna be crazy. Like,
Oh,
and I'm not
absolutely.
forcing it. And I'm glad, a lot of the artists that I have on the list, yourself included, haven't been bombarding me asking to make songs. You know what I'm saying? Like I really hate that, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let me rephrase that. I don't hate it because I would prefer artists to reach out to me. Artists do not reach out to me, but there are artists who have been on the list that I had to remove, but
Word.
they would always like whenever I would see them in person or something like that, they'd be like, or like if I post like some content, they'll DM me right after or some shit like that, and they'll be like, oh, bro, we got to get something going. Yo, let's get something going. Like, yo, come on, bro. It would be dope to make some music together. And it's like, yeah, cool, but you waiting on me to send the beat and initiate the whole thing, or you
Exactly.
got something set up? Like, can I be on your album? Like, why? And that's another thing. Like, people typically don't request me to be on their albums or nothing like that. Like, so usually when they want to put me on a track, it's some shit that they just be sitting on in the vault, like it just never come
Word.
out. Like, and I've had a few of those, and that's my thing with working with people. Like, a lot of them put this shit in the vault, and I'm just like,
See,
what was that for?
I
Like,
hate that.
I have a few songs right now with some of the most fire verses ever. Like, and I'm just so mad the world won't get to hear them until this artist release it. And
Yep.
it's like,
I hate that.
so yeah, like so it's just really it's really crazy. It's just wicked.
It is.
But
And it's necessary. Like, there's no reason to keep like good art in the vault. Like, the world deserves to see the art that two dope. Look, you tell me you got Picasso and Da Vinci on the same damn painting. The world needs to see that. Don't put it away.
it's not ready yet. Yeah, I hate when they say that too. It's not ready yet. I gotta get it mixed and mastered. How many
No,
times? How many times you gotta get mixed and mastered, bro? Like, come on. Like,
exactly.
the track is busy, bro. You're doing too much. Like, but yeah, man, it just be wild. But yeah, so you have that one. And you beat me to the question. That's crazy. I was gonna say because I've listened to a few of your projects, and the one thing that I noticed, except for Brooklyn Butterfly, which also has interesting titles, and that's why I'm saying I didn't get to listen to it yet, so I can't
Mm.
really speak about that too much. Um, but I've noticed a lot of your titles are like anime names. Like, so talk about your influence with anime and hip hop. Like, how does that mesh well for you?
So I honestly, and when I was younger, I didn't even realize that anime and hip hop could go together so beautifully until I just randomly woke up one night at my aunt's house when I was like maybe 9, 10, and Samurai Champloo was just playing in the background, and
Mm.
I lost it. Like just
I feel
my
like Adult Swim did it, really.
yeah,
I feel like
Adult
Adult
Swim
Swim
really
started.
messed me up.
Yeah,
Adult Swim
Adult
messed
Swim
me
was
up as a
really.
child.
Yo, it's crazy how we was watching as kids, bro. Like, and it wasn't like a highly negative channel, but it was just like we wasn't supposed to be watching that, but it was
Right.
very inspiring. Like,
Shoot, my mother would get so mad that she caught me watching Adult Swim or South Park or anything like that when I was younger. She got so mad at me. Now as I get older, that's me and her entire humor. You know what I mean? But but
nah,
yeah,
that's dope. That's dope.
from
Yeah, because I remember the little Toonami intermissions. I
ooh,
remember, what was it?
yep,
Boondocks. Um, it was a few things on Adult Swim that like really had like the little Flying Lotus. You know, it was like Ninth Wonder. It was a bunch of different instrumentals that would be playing. Wu
exactly.
Tang also made it interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start listening to Wu Tang till I was like, in my 20s. You know, fun fact. I'm I'm not one of those artists that's like fully knowledgeable on the history of hip
Mm,
hop. So like if you were to like dive deep, like and ask me a lot of questions about like the 70s, the 80s, maybe the early 90s, I probably wouldn't be able to answer those questions. But like if we're talking like, late 90s, early 2000s into now, maybe I
yeah.
could tell you a lot. I could talk about albums, I could name albums, I could name the year that they came out, but I'm not well versed on the people in the industry as well. Like, as far as like producers and stuff like that, like I'm still, kind of lackluster on that.
You know,
So I couldn't tell you,
that's
yeah, I couldn't tell you who produced a certain album, or I mean, sometimes now I can, but I can't tell you who produced a certain track or what sample they use. Like, I can't dive that deep into it.
right,
Like,
right.
and I don't care to, by the way. Like, not to disrespect the legend or like the history, the legacy of it. But it's just like sometimes, people try to make you feel bad for not knowing your history, and it's like, well, you know what? What if I don't, like, what if I'm not like dying to know at the moment? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna
Right,
come out
right.
eventually. Yeah.
Fair. That's
So
generally fair because I have gotten there has been a part of me that has been shamed in my history for like not knowing certain things, but like my mom, she did kind of like feed me a lot of like the early history of hip hop and everything. She brought me up on all the old school before I even got to really find like my actual favorite people.
mm,
Um, so she brought me up on like Chub Rock, the Fushnikins, Young Black Teenagers, Das Effects, every old school artist you can possibly think of. You don't know how many times she would sit me down and watch Unsung because of the old school people, the old school hip hop people that would be like featured on those episodes. And
mm.
she would like she and it also doesn't help that a lot of my other family members or my mom's friends were also like around some of the old school people. Like my mom used to go to school apparently with Salt and Pepper and what was and their DJ back in the day. She used to watch
My mom
LL
too. That's
Cool J.
crazy.
Yeah, and she used to
My
watch
mom
LL
too.
Cool
That's
J.
crazy.
Yes.
My
Oh,
mom,
they went
my
to the same high
mom,
school.
yeah,
That's
yeah. My
damn.
mom. My mom, yeah, she definitely has stories, and it's crazy, but like she is not like heavy hip hop stories, but like, she's definitely, told some pretty accurate stories where it's like, okay, well, damn, you do know that person, or like, but it'd be dope, like, to know that, so, but by the way, another fun fact, nobody in my family was like a music aficionado, like, they didn't, like, nobody in my family could tell me about, like, music, period.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
stepfather, he used to listen to the same three albums, every day or like every weekend when he was off from work. Um, Ambitions as a Rider, Tupac, Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z, and Ready to Die, Biggie. The same
Damn.
three. Oh, by the I forgot the name of. I know it wasn't an album. It was the R. Kelly's greatest hits. So it was just those four projects he would listen to all the time. So that was like really my main start into music, like really understanding it. And
Yeah.
then when we really like started getting into music, we was only allowed to listen to like R&B, so we could only listen to like Mary J. Blige. We could only listen to, like SWV,
Yep.
Escape. We could only listen to stuff like that. Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Then it started evolving. Then we started listening to like Neo, Usher, Chris Brown came out. But it all changed when I found like an MP3. I was outside walking with my sister to school, and it was raining like crazy, like raining OD bad, and it was like right in the middle of the street. It was like a metal. It looked like a USB drive at first, so that's what I thought it was. And I was like a real computer geek when I was younger, like so I still am. Like if you hold on, if you look at it's my laptop, so I'm saying I'm really, like I'm really in with the tech
I
shit,
feel
so
you. I feel you.
yeah, yeah. So I picked it up and it was digital. Like I've never seen like a digital USB drive, but I didn't know how to work it or whatever. So I just kept it, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So one day I discovered that this shit was an actual MP3 player. So I'm like, oh, so I started finding the music on it. So when I like dived into it, it was everything from T.I., had Neo, it had what's the name? T-Pain. It had Kanye, like the college dropout, late register, all of that. It had, and I'm like, yo, who dropped this? Like they are probably pissed right now. Like,
I can imagine.
yo, and I had like the time of my life, like just diving through that whole USB drive, like just listening to everything, and it was like that just changed my like vibe, for real. But even then, I wasn't like into music heavily at that. I think that was like a year before I like started making music, but
Mm-mm.
it was yeah, it was just like that was like my main like introduction to like really learning, But I did play instruments when I was younger. Like I played the clarinet in sixth grade. And my senior year of high school, I played like a range of different instruments. But I mean, it was part of the curriculum. Like every month, we would change to a different instrument.
Word. Word.
We played the piano, we played the djembe, we played the triangle, we played the grand piano. It was just mad different. The snare drum, different techniques and stuff like that. But
Of course.
after I graduated, I never actually stuck with like playing instruments, like and I didn't realize how crucial it would be because now I'll be performing with live bands,
Yeah.
and shout out my homie Architect, but I did a show at Pianos one day. This was like my first time performing at Pianos, and it was with a live band. So Architect comes out to perform after me, and he says to the dude, "Yo, let me get like a B chord. Let me get that F right there, the F6." And then he went to the drummer. He was like, "Yo, let me get like a like he made the sound." And then he went to the guitarist. He was like, "Yo, just like hit that. I forgot the chord that he said, but he was like, yo, it's like the third note from the top."
Yeah.
And the beat came on to the actual song like that, and I've never seen someone do that before. And
That's fire.
he just started rapping to the song, and I was just like, yo, this is sick. Like, but I just never knew like how big that would be, like going down the line, like, sticking to instruments, like, because music theory is the key to everything,
Of
so,
course.
I mean, I used to love reading sheet music, by the way. I thought that was like a really fun thing to do when I was younger. Like I used to read sheet music. So, by the way, my logo, the team, is a treble clef, but
Of course. Of
it
course.
came, yeah, it came from the love of reading sheet music. You know what I'm saying? Like just discovering. My name is Sharif, so discovering a music note that started with an S, it was like, okay, cool, like so things of that nature. Like I was really like into like learning like music. So I felt like it was always destined for me eventually. But yeah, man. But to be real with you, So I ain't gonna lie, I would like this interview to go on longer, to be real with you, but I try to keep it at like an hour and a half.
I feel you. Look,
Um,
if we had it our way, we'd be going on forever.
I mean, I'm trying to, like extend it a little bit, low key, a little
I
bit.
feel you.
Um, so you don't got a name drop or nothing like that or whatever the case is, but I want to know if you had like any rivalries within the music industry. For context, that same dude that I was telling you about, Bugs, and I can name drop because we already talked about it. It's all like,
Hmm.
situated, boom. Um, there was a point in time where we ended up clashing, and it's because, long story short, I felt like I was more driven. We
Hmm.
were both dope artists, but I felt like I was the one that always had the ideas. Like, let's shoot a video to this, let's go perform, let's do this, let's do that.
Word.
And I always made it happen. That was the thing. So it wasn't like I was just talking out the side of my neck. Like I was
Of
really
course. Of
wanting this
course.
shit to happen. So and especially with the shit that we've already accomplished, I wanted to go to a higher level. I'm like, come on, bro, we can't stay in the hood. Let's do different shit.
Exactly.
Like, you feel me? So yeah, we tried to shoot a video shoot to a song that I have called For the Night. I feel like it's still one of my most fireest songs to this day. I don't perform it that much. Come on, get out of here. Um, yeah, I don't perform it that much, because I can't get this dude outside. You know what I'm saying? And that was another thing too. Like I could never get him outside, but anyways, the video shoot didn't happen because of things in, his situation, like whatever he was going through. But it was a lot of ridiculous situations. But anyways, that right there, and then the videographer as well too. So again, try not to make this into a long thing, but uh I ran into a dude from high school who happened to be a bartender.
Word.
The song is about meeting a girl for the night who asked me, to come back to the crib. So it's about a one night stand that I didn't plan.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was there, I just went with the flow. Whatever happened, happened. So we was in a bar, that was a setting, so it just so happened I meet this dude, he's a bartender, he's like, yo, come to the bar, you can shoot the video in there, I don't mind. Like he's really fucking with the vision. So I'm like, I bet.
Right.
So I
Right.
got everything set up. The one thing that the owner of the bar asked for, she said, I don't want no hoodlum attire. Don't come in here with no hoodies. Don't come in with no crazy, like, sneakers. So if you can come in with like some casual, like you could wear some Converses, you could wear some Uptowns. You get what I'm saying? You could wear,
Exactly.
something casual. And the videographer swore that I was asking him to wear slacks. He thought I was asking him to come in like interview gear or whatever type shit. So I ended up making a song, and it wasn't a diss.
Right.
This was around the time, by the way, my uncle passed, so I was like in my feels, like, So when I made the song, it's actually a remix to W. It's on Bars Over Everything 2. So 3, I believe. No, it's on 2. It's on 2.
Hmm.
So yeah. Anyways, um, I did the remix to that, and I basically just talked about the whole situation, from the video shoot to my uncle, and Bugs hears it, and his thing was he always said this too. He always said, "Yo, if somebody say my name in the rap, it's lit." So when I said it, he went off. The video dude heard it, he went off. So they both made a diss against me or whatever, and I ended up, participating in the beef. It was one of the most fun things. I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of fun, but at the
Felt
same
that. Felt
time,
that.
yeah, at the same time, it was just like, what was the point? You know what I'm saying? Now we don't make no music together, you know what I'm saying? Like, but so back to the question, have you ever had any rivalries that, you feel like just kind of was like, it just wasn't what it was hyped up to be?
Before I answer this question, there's a quote that I've been finding myself saying a lot recently. Do not bite the hand that feeds you. Let me start there. Now, one of your previous guests on the show, I like, we talked about him recently. Uh, he was a part of probably one of the like. you're aware of the time of the summertime where like it just seemed like everybody was going on a diss tirade. Like Kendrick was beefing with Drake, Chris Brown was beefing
Yep.
with Quavo,
Yep.
everyone was beefing with everybody.
Yep.
Now it just so happened that both of my bros, Classic the Writer and Nate the Great, were beefing with each other.
Was that
Really,
real? Because I
it,
saw that
it
actually.
was very real, 100% real,
Oh wow.
100% real.
I thought that was like a clout thing. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was just something that they were doing just because of, excuse me, just because of the moment, and they just wanted to like, a friendly spar.
Well, allow me to tell you a tale. I'm trying to make this as like quick as possible, but allow me to tell you a tale. So my bro at the time, my bro Nate the Great was a very very avid fan of Lupe Fiasco,
Mm.
and Lupe had recently put out a video saying, I wish someone would get me involved in this beef shit. I wish someone would get me involved in this because I dare someone to say my name. I'm ready for all the smoke. Da 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 da. For some reason, that put a battery in Nate's back. I dare anyone to come at me with this beef stuff. I'm ready for all the smoke. Whoever want this work and get this work. And he's saying that to everybody, friends included. Now, my man Classics already had already had problems with Nate for prior stuff that we don't need to get into. So when Nate is saying at his neck, yo, I'm ready for the smoke. I'm ready for the vibe. What's good, yo? Who want this work? And he's shooting at everybody. Classics immediately steps forward. He's like, okay, I'm ready for it. What's up? So so then we immediately see private messages from Nate saying, yo, you talking all this mess, but I'm really about it. Yo, I want this smoke. Yo, what's good with y'all? What's good with y'all? And Class is like, are you sure you want this? Because if you want this, I'm happy to give you the smoke. He's like, yo, I ain't scared of nothing, man. I'm ready for all this. And after that, Nate proceeds to drop the first record.
Mm.
And we're all like, okay, we've heard your previous battles before, but this is something light to start off with. This is something okay to start off with. We're waiting for my bro Class response. Class comes out and swings quite like and drops probably one of the heaviest diss records I've heard in a long time. And all the stuff that he mentions to Nate is all public record, for our immediate circle. Everyone knows everything that he's talking about, that Class is talking about, and it's 100% true. So Nate immediately gets pissed. And instead of making a record to respond, he immediately calls our engineer who recorded this record towards him, pissed the fuck off. So the engineer, who's my bro, calls me up. He's like, "Yo, you gotta come talk to Nate or whatever. He losing his mind." Da 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 da. Now, as a student of the game, wouldn't the right response to be just respond back, keep it hip hop, don't bring any no don't get involved with any of the BS and anything, and just keep it hip hop? He doesn't. He decides not to do that. He decides to call everybody up that was even associated with our bro and starts crashing out. We're like, yo, either you respond in public or you bitch about it in private. Don't bitch about it in public. So
Right.
a few days pass. I think we get to 420. He drops another record, and it's weak. I'm not gonna lie to you. As I try to be as respectful as possible about that song. It's a weak record. And in terms of battles, it is a weak record. It is weaker than anything I've heard him do before. So I give my 2 cents about it. And everyone else does so in kind. Nate don't take it
Right.
well. He crashes out on everybody else. But after a while, he decides to apologize to Classics. He decides to
Mm.
apologize to whatever he said in those previous
J. Cole.
records. Exactly. He goes the J. Cole route. But then, maybe a few days later, me and my bros are sitting in my house, chopping it up, working on songs and shit. We get a text message from him. He sends us the cover art for the next diss track he plans on dropping. But hold up, I thought you apologized. What are you doing? Why are you dropping another record? You waved the white flag already. Don't try and sneak him from behind. He does so anyway. He drops the record. It's weaker than anything we've ever heard before. Like I feel like every time he drops a record, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So everyone comes out in kind and says, "Yo, this record is weak. What are you doing? You can do better than this." So then he starts crashing out on not only everyone around him, but me included. He starts rolling up on me at LC talking about, yo, I don't like how you took classic side over mine. I didn't take no one's side. I just kept it real. I said one
Right.
song was better than the other. So I just keep it a buck. That's just me as a friend. If you want me to lie to you, then I'm not being a good friend. So okay,
Right.
I let that go. Next time LC rolls around, he rolls up on me again. Yo, Jet, why didn't you tell your boy not to say what he said about me? You started talking mess about him first. Why do I have to respond? Y'all both grown men, and this has nothing to do with me. But but you should have said something because that's your boy, and now looking like that has nothing to do with me. I'm innocent. I'm thinking, okay, this has to be the last time he crashes out on me, right? Wrong.
Right.
He rolls up on me again at LC. He starts talking crazier. He's
He's
like,
not even
yo,
like that.
and I'm just like,
He's like that.
what did I do? I'm not the one that dropped any records on you. Why are you beefing with me like I did something? I just kept it real with you and told you what records were fire and what records were trash. That's hip hop. If you can't keep it hip hop, what am I supposed to do? But he don't even see it that way. He sees it as me being a bad friend. He sees it as me like just not be like he says he basically says I ain't shit. He's going off. Keep in mind when I have gone through hell and back to make sure that he has been good with whatever situation he's been in the past. I've let him stay at my house. I let him stay at my grandmother's house. I let him stay at my mother's house. I've gone through so many situations with him because of his own emotions that it's worn me down spiritually. But as a good friend and as a brother, I'll go through the fire and flames with you. But this is how you want to react over some records? This is how you want to react over a little bit of criticism online? Keep in mind, our fan base ain't that big, so ain't no one really like going off on him like that. Maybe the handful of our peers that know him are saying something. But, I'm just like, if you want to do all this, and I'm trying, and anyone can ask anyone, I'm as real as it comes when it comes to people. So I try to keep it a buck with you. And the entire time I'm just telling him straight up, I'm telling him about himself. He balling his fist up like he want to fight me. Like he want to swing. So I tell him straight up, if you can't handle what I have to say as a man, and you want to swing on me, then be prepared to fall on the floor now, because I will straight jaw check you. And from
Right.
there, that's all she wrote. That was the last time I heard from him. That was the last time I saw him. He ended up like curbing a lot of our friendships after that. He ended up curbing a lot of the family relationships he had with that. So
So
from there,
you didn't ever have to do a diss track against him.
I never had to. When it comes down to certain songs or whatever, there's a song on me and Mizzle's project called "Ease Up" where we're dissing someone like that's named JT, but half of my verse is dedicated to just saying how disappointed I am in his actions and the other dude's actions. Because I'm not the diss record type of person. I'm as chill as it comes. You can listen. If you want to do wrong by my people, you do wrong by my people. There's plenty of people in my team that are petty enough to straight give you smoke every single day of the week. But if you crash out with me, then you lose all the family connection that you've ever had with me. You lose all the friendship connections you ever had with me, and I don't want nothing to do with you. There is no coming back. There is no coming back and apologizing with me because I don't play that. You have one time to crash out with me, and if you take 3 times to do it, then you're dead to me.
I feel that. I ain't gonna hold you. One time I crashed out, I loved it.
I loved it too.
So
I'm not gonna
I
lie. It's a beautiful
so
thing.
like granted, like I said, it was in that same rap beef, but I did it all in one song. So I judged both of them in one song. So, but it amazed me because I didn't know that I could do it this record,
Mm.
right? And then when I did it, it made sense. Like I'm gonna send you that one too. But
Mm.
it's like, yo, like I really just channeled, and this is another thing that I feel like with music too, and this goes back to the question that Classic asks: how do you know if the title, the production, everything is right? A lot of times when I make a song, I feel like that's what I was channeled to say.
Yeah.
Like like so, like a lot of people would sit there and be like, I don't know if I should put this out. Damn, I was a little too vulnerable. Oh, I cursed a lot, and it's like, nah, bro. I was channeled to say this. I'm gonna put this out. Like this was something that was meant to go out to the world. Like,
The spirit spoke to you.
so yeah, like when I put that out, it was like, yo, the reception that it got from everybody. Again, like everyone was confused because we had such a good fan base. It was like, yo, like what's going on? How the hell y'all beefing or whatever? But when they heard us going back and forth, it was just like, yo, like again, the first song that I did, the Duppy
Yeah,
remix, that wasn't a diss. It was just me acknowledging the situation. Like I'm a storyteller, so I'm talking about the situation.
exactly.
They took it as a diss, and then I did the diss record. So they dropped two more after that, but I was already done. It was like a Nas Ether situation. I just did the one and done, and I was like, yeah, I don't got time for this. But it was fun the one time that I did it, though, So I have no regrets. It was a good
I
time.
felt that. I felt
Yeah, and
that.
we had fun. We had fun. You know what's crazy? Even though we was beefing, we still was messaging each other. We still hit each other. Oh, nigga, you think you the shit? Ah, you know what? This was actually fire, bro. You know what? Good shit. I like that. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like, it was good sportsmanship, even though we wasn't on good terms. But we was able to like actually hit each other up and say, "Yo, good shit." Like, So
And that makes sense because
I thought that
y'all are
was
students of the game. Like y'all understood that, yo, like at this point right now, we're in the sport of it. We're competing against each other. We're in the sport of it. There was like sure there may have been some level of animosity, but there was still a lot. There was still a lot of the sportsmanship about it, and and from there it came that genuine respect. So that's why when it came down to those records, the record that I put out about the both of them, I try, I felt the sportsmanship of it, but it also broke my heart because I had done a lot of stuff with these people and I did a lot of work with these people. I had helped them out from so many situations. And it's like they spat in my face all the stuff that I did to them, that I did for them. So, it's I felt the energy and I really was about it, but at the same time it broke my heart, you know.
Nah, I feel exactly. I know. I feel you on that definitely. Because I think about it now, and it's like I'm doing so much bigger things, and it's like, yo, I could bring this dude with me. And it's crazy because I think like what 2 years ago I did a show, to end the year off, and it was like it was a dope venue. It was a really dope show. This was one of the shows where I got like I think about 20 people came outside for me.
Mm.
It was actually it was my birthday or whatever. My birthday was the very next day. But that was like the promo for the show. I was like, yo, come out for my birthday show, come celebrate with me. I had the 2 foot long spliff. You know what I'm saying? So yo, it was
Ah,
I got a video of that, but it was like a whole 2 foot long spliff. I spent like a whole month and a half stuffing that shit. Like no grabber,
yo,
by the way.
that's
No
crazy.
grabber. No
No
grabber.
problem.
It was
Straight
yeah,
green.
straight weeds. Like yo, I'm talking it was like a whole pound of that shit.
Wow.
Like yeah, like every time I got some bread, like cause I was already making edibles and stuff, so I had my own business and all that.
Oh,
So,
word.
but anytime that I had like any weed or whatever left over from the day, cause I always read up every single day. So, anytime I had some leftover shit from the end of the day, I put that shit right in the cone, and I put that shit away. So I was like, yeah, on my birthday, if this shit full by then, we light this
Felt
bitch.
that.
So yeah, that was the promo. That was the promo. I was like, yo, I got this big split. It's my birthday. Come celebrate. So mad people popped out. I had a nigga drive from upstate to come see me. I was like, yo, like, but it was funny. Anyway, so I brought him out to that show. Um, and he performed. It was an amazing show. Like, it was really dope. We rehearsed for it and everything. Like, it was really fire. But I never got him to come outside after that.
Damn.
And it's just like, damn, bro, I thought that would inspire you. Because, by the way, here's the funny part, too. I hate to say it, too, but I ended his career. Like ever since I put that disc out, he has not released, and he released like some freestyles or whatever. But it was like years later, like kind of like, yo, look, I'm still making music, like. But it was like nobody really bought into it. No disrespect to him, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, yeah, like you waited too long, bro. Like you took too long of a break. You didn't really try to like keep people entertained over the years. But like you said, it broke my heart, man. It was just like, damn, son, you was actually talented. And I really wish you could have like kept going, but it is what it is.
I mean,
Um,
hey, so sometimes you gotta sacrifice, people to the gods of hip hop in order to help flourish your own career. You know what I mean?
Facts, facts, facts. So here's a question I wanted to ask you for a long time. You have all this music out. You've done all these features. You've done all these shows. What do you feel like is stopping you from breaking that ceiling? Like what because and in my opinion, you're not known enough. Like people don't know who you are enough. And it's not like in a way like, oh, you gotta be a celebrity, but it's like as much as you done, I feel like you don't get it, like the recognition. Like, forget the respect, you don't get the recognition. Like, no one is like, no one's even paying attention to you. Like, you're like under the radar. So
That's a good question. That is a good question. Because if you would ask me this a few years ago, I would have told you money. I would have told you. I would have told you just connections. There's a few answers I could have ran with when I was younger and a lot more naive. But as it stands now, when and like my 10, when I'm like knocking on 10 years, and like I've got some of the biggest projects under my name right now. I genuinely don't know. I feel like I just need to like. I feel like if I keep working, putting more like work in and grinding more on what I want to do, then eventually something's gonna happen, and my name and a lot of people are gonna know my name. But if I had to really give a genuine answer to it, I would probably say just evolution. Probably the game is always evolving, and I guess I'm still relatively thinking with the same mindset of what someone in like the early age of the internet would do to get on, or like what someone in like the early ages of hip hop would do to get on and everything like that. When now it's like you gotta like really sacrifice who you are and your own creativity to like really have like the biggest name possible. And sometimes it means having to do music that you're not proud of. Sometimes it's having to do music that like is a lot more hindering of your creativity than it is supportive of your creativity. Sometimes it probably means making an ass out of yourself online or whatever to actually get like your foot in the door and get noticed. And I guess maybe I'll have too much into I want to say self respect, because then that means like a lot of people that are out there don't have any. I want to say maybe like a little bit more integrity on like what it really means, or who I am as an artist, to really just like bug out and do crazy shit like that. Because believe me, I feel like I could just do like not trap music, but like sexy drill or random or any type of drill or anything like that, and get on that way. But that's not me. That's not my wave. That's not what speaks to me. I could do that. I could go that lane and join up in in those trenches and everything like that. But then that's not being true to myself. And then the more I try to like be someone who I'm not, like it's gonna kill me inside. So I try to stay true to my art and my craft and like what I love to do and what I love to create. And from there, I feel like that for the most part hinders me, because I notice whenever I do these shows, a lot more people will notice the sound that's a lot more popping instead of what genuinely speaks to them. And I try to bite that bullet every day, because it does hurt my heart that a lot more people are noticing just the people that that put in less work but get more notoriety. But I feel like for the most part, I'm happy with my art, and I'm happy with what I create, and I'm happy with like what the message that I put out there, makes people feel. And and I'm happy with just uh how how positive the little bit of feedback I gets, and I know that it's just that little bit of rise that helps that'll eventually elevate me to that space. Um, so I guess what I could really say to answer that question in as short as possible, it's really just me, like the game is ever evolving, and I just try to stay and I try to flow against that current.
okay, so let's take away that aspect of it.
Mm,
Forget forget the game changing,
mm,
because you know I truly I'm huge on maintaining your own style. Like, I would never change. Like, I've done drill beats, but that's only because I wanted to do it, and I still
mm,
have a few that I want to work on. I don't know about sexy drill. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do like the style of some of it. I hate the repetition of it. Like, it's so repetitive. Everyone's doing it. That's why I can't do it. But like, there's some styles that I hear and I'm just like, okay, this is fire. But for the most part, again, I like my style and I prefer to stay in my range. Like, even if you listen to the album, The Unexpected 3,
mm-hmm.
I've stepped all the way out of my lane. You know what I'm saying? There are a few hip hop tracks on there where people do like to put me in the boom back box. So there are like a few of those kind of on there. But for the most part, like as far as like storytelling, I was able to stick to that, but production wise, I stepped into a whole new lane, so it opened up a different cadence for each song.
Hmm.
And yeah, and it just brought me out of like, like a different world. And I was enjoying it. Like I didn't have any struggles writing the project. Like, obviously some of them took some time to write or whatever, because I had to really understand that I was about to like speak on, like some things that I really want, like kept inside for a while. So basically the album is a culmination of the last 5 years of my life, so literally, so every song on there literally is like 5 years of my life of what I'm discussing.
Yeah.
Um, but like it's just it's just for me personally. I believe that you don't have to change it. You don't have to like do anything you don't want to do to build your wave, right?
Hmm.
But what so the segue to that is what is your approach? Like how are you marketing yourself? Because I believe marketing plays a huge part. So
Yeah.
how are you marketing yourself as an artist?
So I can honestly say, if I can 100% honestly say, I'm just really now starting to really market myself properly. I feel like it really takes a long time to find how to properly market yourself. So after a while, I finally understood like what I can really present myself as. Because before, I started off as the anti trap rapper, the straight up boom bap rapper, and that wasn't how like, that wasn't a good way to present myself at all. Because I ended up being more than that. And then there was a good period of time where I had no idea who I was. And I kept flip flopping between certain waves, and to the point where I just straight up lost myself. um, but now I can say genuinely that I pretty much market myself as an art, like as a genuine creator. That as okay, the best way I can really like describe it as two simple words: the abstract mind. That's I'm always thinking of different ways to. I just now noticed in the pinned comment, he's one of the best to do it. Thank you, Chucky. This is what I was talking about earlier. That will big me up like for like nobody's business. But yeah, that the best way I've been able to market myself as the abstract mind, someone that can think so outside the box that that I look so far to the right that I eventually look left. That someone that's been able to like flip the script so many different ways that you end up with an entirely new story. And for the most part, that's been pretty much like a good. It's been working out so far. You know what I mean? It's been a good way to really expound on like it's a good way to present who I am to the people, and a lot of people have latched onto that. So now I feel like now I'm at a good place where I can like genuinely market myself and like really present myself as what I feel at my heart of hearts that I am. And I feel like now eventually it's just a matter of hitting the right ear. Someone is bound to hear like my sound and immediately latch onto it to the point where like that top spot is like coming pretty soon, like sooner than I think. Uh, so marketing myself now is just like I'm starting to do a lot more video content. I'm starting to do a lot more visual content with my music. I'm starting to get a lot more creative with the ways I present my music. I've also been studying album rollouts from some of like some of my favorite creators. Um, yeah, it's like I'm just now really starting to understand what it means to really market yourself and what it means to really like present yourself to the masses. Like what it really means to present who you are on paper.
Mm. Okay, so another thing about marketing, this also goes to your supporters. How do you interact with your support system?
For the most part, I've been very connected with everyone that tunes in and taps in. I
How
say my
so?
circle has like expanded like immensely to the point where like there's like this intricate network of people that both support me and I support them, and it's become an intricate network. That's really the best way I could say it. And as far as like the people that aren't in the music but like love music, I'm doing a lot better. I'm doing a lot better with interacting with them as a whole, presenting them with sneak peeks into my life, sneak peeks into the creative process. Uh, Basically opening windows to what my mind is working on. And I'm only now just starting to really get into that, because before I was just trying to figure out who I was as an artist. Now I'm trying to figure out how I present that artist to the world. And I've started formulating something that can actually latch on to everybody and take them along for the ride. And I think it's starting to work out with me now because I'm really understanding what it really means.
Do you feel like there's it's a double-edged sword question.
Mm.
Do you feel like there's pressure to keep up with your support system, or do you feel like it conflicts with your spiritual?
Yes and no. It's pressure to keep up with the support system because, like, obviously attention spans nowadays suck. The minute you take your eyes off somebody, it's on to the next one, and then you're stuck wondering where the hell everybody went. So there is that pressure, and at the same time, trying to like keep everybody focused on what you're doing all the time. It does like weigh on you after a while, because you're trying to like build this persona every single day of your life, and it becomes taxing. It really does become taxing. Like I'll be genuinely honest with you. Like the process of building myself last year and building the projects and building everything that made what Brooklyn Butterfly and Jay Jetson and everything else was, it sent me into a mental breakdown last year. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It quite literally broke my brain to the point where my roommates had to like quite literally sit me down and like and try to reset the computer that is my mind to like get me back on track. Um,
Mm.
so it really is a double-edged sword. It's like you have to keep people on you, or you have to keep that vision on you, and at the same time, you just want to just like let the guard down. You want to take the armor off and just be you for a hot minute. So, but the beautiful thing about that is now I've learned to both merge the persona and myself. So I'm able to give a little bit of myself, but not give too much. And that the way I presented myself, and I'm able to have people like look into what I'm doing. I'm just able to just be me now. I'm just able to just like let people see what I'm doing as both Javon and Jay Jetson, and let that just ease my spirit.
Mm. That's dope. Hey, hey, stop. My bad. There you go. Yeah. Um, Stop it. Relax. It's okay. Um, Damn, it kind of threw me off a little bit.
It's all good.
So hey, relax. Come on. I'm doing an interview, man. Being disrespectful. Um, Damn, give me a second.
All good. Take your time. Yo, shout out to
So
Chucky, man.
we were talking about marketing yourself and engaging with your fan base. You know, so what? How do you think it takes a lot of money to like make some noise?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Cause hold on, Chucky mentioned a sadware product, so we do have to sell ourselves in a sense. Do you think it takes a lot of money to do so?
Yes and no. There are ways to get your name up there and present yourself, and actually market yourself without spending a whole lot of money. There are avenues to go. Only problem with that is you can only go but so far. So until you have to actually spend money to actually do something. So yeah, there's not. It doesn't always take money to market yourself and actually present yourself and everything like that. But instead, like I always look at it as investing in yourself. You are yes, you are a product. It's sad to say that we are a product. I agree with Chucky, but at the same time, you are investing in the product. You are investing in making. You're investing in a business. You gotta make sure that business gets off the ground, and sometimes it does take a lot of startup money to actually make it happen. And you're investing in yourself, and it does take investment money. So, but the way I see it, you do invest in yourself a lot of times. You invest when you buy beats. You invest when you buy studio time. You invest when you're buying clothes for shows and music videos and stuff. You invest when you're doing everything basically.
Right.
So yeah, it's really just a matter of how much money are you willing to actually invest in yourself to make sure the product actually stands out. And I
Have
would
you
say
thought
for the
about
longest
merch?
time, I didn't spend a lot of money on myself because I didn't have it. I wanted to do amazing things and creative and really expound on my creativity, but I had the funds to do it. I was working at retail jobs, like trying to build scratch together, trying to do this, that, and the third.
What if you didn't know how to spend it?
If you didn't know how to spend it, then you're just making bad investments, and that's when you have to really like.
Well, what I mean by that is that a lot of times like for example, I used to look at my W-2s and be like, where the hell did that $24,000 go? Like, how did
Mhm.
I make $24,000 in a year and I ain't seen it? But at the same time, I was going to shows, and not just any show. I was traveling out the state. You know what I'm saying? I was booking rentals that I couldn't even afford. Like
Right.
I was getting rentals and driving to different states to perform. And nobody know who the hell I am. 9 times out of 10, when I step on the stage, they just like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like talking about New York. Like we don't care.
Hmm.
But like, a lot of times it was kind of like that, but for the most part, it's just been fun. But I think ultimately, a lot of artists don't, they don't spend the money because it sounds expensive, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
again, getting a rental and going to, let's just say, Virginia. It was me and 12 artists. I just randomly put up a post. I was like, yo, who want to come with me to Virginia? And man, people hit me up and I just created a group chat. And out of all those people, I think it was like 20 something people, like 12 people actually ended up, putting up money and, we went to Virginia to do the show. But I just think a lot of artists are scared to, create those kind of opportunities for themselves. Like
Mm.
it's okay. Like, granted, we have our vices and stuff like that, but it's okay to be like, you know what? I'm gonna drop this check on a showcase. And obviously, we learn that some of these showcases are scams and stuff like that throughout the way. But
Exactly.
some of them do be worth it. Like for example, when I performed with UGA, when I did the live band shows,
Hmm.
I paid for those. You know what I'm saying? But it was worth it. I gained fans from it. I've sold merch at some of those shows. You know what I'm saying? Like it's been life changing experiences. So like by investing in yourself, I say, you can't be scared to do it. You can't just assume that, just because you work at retail, you can't afford it. Not talking about you in general,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like, it's just like, you don't, just because you don't have it, or you don't think you have it, you know what I'm saying, don't mean you can't make that move.
Exactly. And if you don't have
So,
it, get it. Simple. That's how I've been seeing it lately. If you genuinely don't have it, then go get it because there's nothing stopping you from getting it.
right, 100%. Word.
And when it comes down to people that's like not, that's choosing to not spend the money because like they're hesitant on, I don't know if this is a scam or not. I don't know, like this might be too much money. This is why it helps to like build connections and build a network of people that are both a lot more knowledgeable than you and are less knowledgeable than you. Because the more knowledgeable people, they'll let you know straight up, they'll point you in the directions of whether this is the right way to go or if there's something better on the next turn. And the people that are behind you that know less than you, you're gonna impart that same wisdom behind you, and it helps build that network of success along the line.
Mm.
Because that's basically what the goats are to me. It's a mix of people that both know what they're doing and both don't know what they're doing.
Mm.
And we've been able
Interesting.
to like collaborate information and opportunities.
I fuck
Whenever
with
there's a
that
show
too.
going on, will someone like either someone's done it before and they'll tell us it's legit or a scam, or we'll all pool our money together for a bigger opportunity and make that happen.
Mm.
But yeah, there's no reason to be afraid of certain situations because obviously it's live and learn. If you invest in yourself and the investment comes up bad, that's still just a part of your business. You just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again with the next opportunity. So
Right.
it's really just a matter of learning and surrounding yourself with people that know what they're doing and don't know what they're doing.
Mm. So, Chucky made a very valid point. You said you billboard ready. Been saying this. So that's an interesting point. So, did you know that you can like a lot of the ways to market in ourselves is very inexpensive. Like, for example, I'm saying, granted, my phone costs a lot of money, but I bought a tripod for I believe it was like $30. I bought a
Mm,
gimbal. I'm not gonna lie, the gimbal was like $200, but it was one of those moments where I had $20 and I was like, I'm buying a gimbal. You
yeah.
know, I got like some lights and stuff like that. Even this laptop, right here, shit like that. Like, but it even more deeper into that. Do you pay attention to your insights?
I will say I do pay for my insights.
No, not pay.
Oh,
Do you pay attention to it?
do I pay attention to my insights? Yes, I do. I try to look into like who's watching, who like what demographic of people are watching. I try to like adjust my stuff to drag in more people and everything. I do pay for ads when I can. I pay for the promotion. I pay for I do go the actual pay the market route to like, and it's been working out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's been working out. It's to the point where I've been putting my other people on that didn't even know that it was possible to do all this stuff. But
Mm,
I will say though, there's a lot more to learn and a lot more to invest in because I've been dipping my toes into it. Pretty soon I'll be able to like actively like deep dive and actually like swim in those waters.
mm,
And sooner or later everything will start like working out on its own and everything will start lining up. Because but I
mm.
don't want to just jump into it just yet and then try to like send that same information back to my people and then they end up drowning behind me.
Well, there's the trial and error period, my brother. You have to be a trailblazer in order to create a legacy. You
You
get
all
what I'm
right?
saying? You have to do things that other people haven't done or aren't ready to do in order to know if it's gonna, help you succeed or it's gonna bring you down. That's one. And two, you know what I'm saying? You never know until you fail. You get what I'm saying? And just
True.
because you fail doesn't mean you failed. So again, this is what I'm talking about. You can't be scared to do things. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do it, do it. Like, the worst that can happen is you're going to fail. Like, but that's the worst thing that can happen. You get what I'm saying? Like, so, point in case, what I've started realizing with my insights is that now when I post things, I'm starting to reach more non-followers. And I don't pay for any streams. I don't pay for no music views. I don't pay for none of it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? But I have boosted a couple of my posts on Instagram over time. I don't do it to every single thing. But this was like back then before I like really understood my insights. I just knew that I was able to promote, using a couple of dollars. So I would put like, $50. I would put like $10, and I would stretch it through like 3 days,
hmm
5 days or something like that, and I would see what would happen through that. So I didn't really get a lot of followers, but I definitely got a lot of views, and so for me, my thing has just been learning how to change that. Like, like, so if I could show you like screenshots of my insight now, it's like I'm reaching 80% non-followers. And it's like, well, how is this possible? And no one is, hitting me back. And the numbers are in like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, like, accounts reached. So I'm like, yo, out of 5,000 people, no one decided to like really tap in, with like what's going on.
Word.
So that's like my newest thing now, like learning how to like fully transfer them into like, supporters. But it's nice to see that whatever I post is really getting out there. Like stuff that I post now, people are really seeing this. Like I'm noticing like people do engage. Like so I do see random comments on my stuff from people I don't even know. So I think that's really dope. Actually, funny story. The flyer that I shared for this interview, I've never seen this number a day in my life. When I checked the insights, it had almost 500 shares.
Wow.
Almost 500 shares. I've never even gotten that on music before. I don't even have 500 followers on this page. I'm not even in triple digits yet. And to
That's heavy.
have almost 500 people share that flyer just because of what they like, so it's things like that. And it's like, it would have been dope if I had 548 new followers now tuned into this episode. Like, you feel
Exactly.
me? Like, so that's what I'm really working on now. Like I got the eyes, now I need the support.
Word.
So don't be afraid to invest in yourself, bro. And that's another thing too, like with your content as well too. Which is gonna segue into the next set of questions, the last set of questions that I have for you. Don't be afraid to utilize the people around you. Like, hey, yo, Danny is like one of the dopest young dudes that I see doing this content, and he's killing it.
Absolutely.
So you got people like him around you. You feel me? So that's a blessing. So to get into this last set of questions, you're part of a collective, the
Yes.
GOATs. I've been a part of a few collectives, and let's just say it didn't really work out. So what would you say is like your biggest pros and cons of being in the collective?
Well, let me start off by saying this. I never wanted to join the GOATs when we first started, but I kind of got
Mhm.
Stockholm syndrome by Mike into joining, and now I'm probably the main one that like bleeds for this team. Like Mike will tell you, he literally had to like threaten me to join this team, and now I'm here and I'm stuck and I can't leave. But nah, I love the Goats Incorporated. This is probably like the most solid team I've ever been a part of, and I've been a part of like some stinkers back in the day.
Mm.
I'd say one of the biggest pros is that we're all different. We're all we come from completely different lines of life. You got the crack era people. You got the street level people. Yeah, the crack era people. It's crazy, really, when you look at it. You got the nerds, you got the geeks, you got the hoodlums, you got you got every single type of person, walk of life in the GOATs, and we all, on paper, we shouldn't mesh. We shouldn't mesh at all.
How many people? How many members is it?
I think we're at like what, 15 plus, 20 plus. Yeah.
So
We
how do
get
y'all manage? Like, how does that work? Do you like, okay, so do you feel like there are some people that's just a part of the collective because they feel like it's going somewhere?
There's people that are part of the collective that genuinely everyone that's a part of the collective joined because they built a genuine camaraderie with at least 5 to 6 of us, and then from
Mm,
there they built camaraderie with everybody else that's a part of the team. And so
mm.
because the Ghost is genuinely more than a group. We are quite literally a family. We literally just had Thanksgiving over here a few days ago. Like almost every member that could make
For
it
real.
was over here, eating food and everything.
That's sick. Did
So I can
everybody
genuinely
cook,
say,
or did they leave that up to you?
oh no, that was all me and my mother. I don't want no one cooking. Like that's my thing. That's my thing. I am the cook. I am the chef.
No raisins in the potato salad. No peas in my mac and cheese.
Oh, that's the thing. I've gotten threatened for my mac and cheese. Like they'd be like, "Yo, if I don't have mac and cheese by Jetson, we're throwing riots. We're burning the city down." That's literally how it be. So
That's
yeah,
crazy. That's crazy.
I can genuinely
That's
say the
beautiful though.
biggest.
That's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. So I can genuinely say that the biggest pro of the GOATs is that we are quite literally a family. And and I mean that in both the positive and the negative way. Like we stick together, we got each other's backs. If someone comes at one of us, they call out all of us. We have a very family mindset.
Mm.
But at the same time, we sometimes fight like brothers and sisters do. You know, we have disagreements. We have different forms of creativity. So so every time it's not going to always click with each other. So we do have we do butt heads every now and then. But yeah, that's our biggest pro. I'd say our con is maybe that we're that. Well, that's we get on each other's nerves sometimes. That's really it. Like I can genuinely say I love Mike Mizzle to death. I love A.O. Danny to death. I love Ariella known to death. I love all my brothers and sisters in the goats to death. But Lord, if I want to pop them upside the head with a brick sometimes.
I feel
Like
that. I feel that. I feel that.
pure and simple.
No, I feel that 100%. That's actually dope, man. But yeah, so like, how do y'all manage, like, I guess releasing music? Because you said it's 20 plus people. So, like, how do y'all like don't you think that becomes a little complicated to promote, I guess, in a
Not
sense?
really.
Like,
The
say
beautiful
you drop, like, say 10 of y'all drop an album within the same month. How do y'all all promote that in a month?
we'll say we genuinely just promote each other's albums. That's really all it is. Because here's the thing: there was a time stretch back in 2021 where every single member was dropping a project. I was dropping Abstract Gravity 2 at the time. Mike was dropping, I think, like 2 projects or whatever, classics that when he was a part of the team. He was dropping a project. Everyone was dropping something. But the
Right.
thing was, like, instead of looking at it as, okay, who should we promote first? Who should we promote next? This, that, and the third. We just generally looked at it as we're genuine fans of each other's music. So why not share it and share everyone's
Mhm.
music and promote each other's music as though we're actually fans of each other's stuff. So
Right.
that's how we started doing it from that point on. If like well, since we're all fans of what we do and we all love what we do from each other, anytime someone drops, we all share. Every time I drop, they all share. Every time someone drops a poem, we all share. And we just promote it. We just promote all of our stuff as much as possible because we know my fans may not be that person's fans. That person's fans may not be that person's fans. That person, and so on and so forth. So the more we just share
Right.
our stuff and share, our member just dropped this album. It's fire. It's setting fire to the streets. Go check it out. They do the same thing for me. I do the same thing for them. And we quite literally treat our promotion like a family plot, like a family potluck.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So another thing that I wanted to mention, with the whole investing in yourself, and I want to bring this one up because I feel like this one is hugely important. So I was part of a collective, I want to say about a year and a half ago, called the Chromosomes.
Mm,
And I feel like so I was the leader of the group. Apparently, I didn't plan that, but I was responsible for bringing everyone together. Whether I was just networking with people after the show, or whether I ended up in the same studio session with an artist, or whatever the case was. All these people came together and they enjoyed all working with me. That was the one thing they had in common. Everyone enjoyed being around
mhm,
me. You know, um, and they liked seeing how I was running the ship, and once I started like explaining to them like the journey that I was on, and I started telling them about the whole London trip and all of that, like they really saw like, okay, this kid got something going on, like this is really, moving for him. Um, we started doing a lot of things. So going back to the VA trip, we went to mad different states,
mhm,
like with the same thing that we booked a rental, some of us put up money or whatever the case is, right? Um, But it came down to a point where nobody wanted to invest in each other. So, for example, we did Day Summit Festival, 2022.
mhm,
The plan was for that festival was the not to say the hottest artist, but the artist that had the most motion in the group. We were supposed to pay for a main stage slot, so that was about $300-$400.
mhm.
So about 6 of us in the group were supposed to have a main stage. Meanwhile, the rest of us the main ones included, but we were all supposed to pick different days during the festival where none of us are all performing. So like maybe 2 or 3 of us out the group could be performing, but the rest of us gotta be supporters in the crowd. But because everyone was so thirsty to perform and take advantage because Day Summit low key be lit. Like the artists, the everything be coming out. You know what I'm saying? The vibes is really
Right.
there. Like you could really meet somebody and that shit could really. I met so many artists through Day Summit. I've worked with so many artists. I still have connections through Day Summit. Like it's really lit if you use it the right way. But nobody wanted to, nobody wanted to pay for that $20 to get in. Everybody wanted to be like, well, you win, let me get in with you. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so I paid for my main slot. So I mean, but I also did what we used to do during Day Summit. Like whoever us had like the artist badge, we would give it to like one of our homies, and they would get in for free.
Yeah.
But they still had to pay to perform. You get what I'm saying? So it defeated the whole purpose. So that's what
Yeah.
we was just trying to organize. But it ultimately fell apart because nobody wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to invest. So you have, like you said, about 20 plus people. Do y'all ever like have that discussion? Like, okay, you know what? Like, for example, you put out, if I could say anything, you probably put out the most music than everybody in that group. So what if you were to create a project, right? And you were to tell the other 20 plus members to say, hey, you know what? Invest $20 in marketing with me. And 20 times 20 is what? 400.
Exactly.
So did I do that right? Yes. So my bad, brain freeze.
It's
Yeah,
all good. I'm
so
bad at math too. Don't worry.
now
Don't
you
worry
got
about it.
$400 towards marketing. You get what I'm saying? Now
Right.
you got $400 towards marketing, and you can spend that on whatever that you want. And y'all can keep on rotating that for every single artist. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can create y'all rollouts, y'all can shoot videos, y'all can do all these things to help each other. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I definitely want to like share with you as far as being part of a collective. Don't be afraid to ask everyone to invest in you. And honestly, to be real with you, yes, life be life,
Yeah.
but if a motherfucker keep giving excuses about not wanting to invest in the group, they gotta go, bro.
It's true.
Because y'all all gotta be on one accord.
It's true.
It's a collective. You get what I'm saying? So, definitely push that agenda. I hope y'all can all get around to the round table and really, because like you said, there's some of y'all that know what y'all doing, some of y'all that don't. The ones that don't know could definitely be hearing this right now.
You're
They could
right.
definitely be understanding that, that's what it takes.
So what I will say, this is something that we've been implementing a lot more when it comes down to presenting the group a lot more. We implemented something that we corny enough called the Goat Fund, where
Okay.
each of us I set up a group chat, not a group chat, a cash app for the goats in entirety. And whenever we can, we deposit bread into the cash app, into the group cash app.
Mm,
So that way, whenever we have something that comes up that we want the group to participate in, whether it's a show, a music video, just promotion in general, we all pour into that fund, and eventually when we get to a certain number or something like that, or we want to take something out of it, we just add it on to we use that to pay for whatever we want to get onto. That's how we've gotten most of our shows for the Whose Mic Is It showcase. And whenever we do those shows, we always sign up under the Goats Incorporated. We don't sign up. Most of us don't sign up individually. We sign up under the Goats, and then we present ourselves
that's
as the
dope.
Goats. We got the shirts and everything. We go into interviews as the Goats. We go into public forums as the Goats. We damn near look like a whole gang when we walk into a spot. Um, but whenever it comes down to like shows and stuff like that, we always present as the goats. We talk about this ahead of time. When it comes to the songs that we end up doing for those shows, we always end up doing we always ask who's available for what show. If people are available for that show, then we look into our music catalog and see what we can do from our repertoire that that each person that's able to pull that to that show can perform that night. If say maybe like what 7 of us are able to pull it to a show. We look at all the
Mm,
songs that have that have 7 of us that have those 7 people on those songs, and
mm,
we pick from that list. And then from there, if
mm,
people are able to invest in that show and put down for the group, then they put in. If not, and someone has to put in a little bit more, then that's fine, because we don't look at it we don't look at that too heavy, because at the end of the day, we're trying to put the entire group on, and if someone doesn't have it, we just we tag in and we put down for them if we need to. So yeah,
mm.
we when it comes down to like money and promotion and stuff like that, we've kind of gotten good at being able to separate, you know, I want to get on. Why can't I get it? Why can't I get my own set and everything? We've been able to separate ourselves from that and just be like, okay, if you want to be on, you can be on. If you want the group to be on, then the group is going to be on. If you want to pay for the group and yourself, you're able to do that. And we try not to get too hot headed about who gets presented to the forefront, who gets left in the background. Shoot, half the time I'm more than willing to be just on the beatbox if that means putting the entire group on, because I know once all of us or one of us gets on, then that whole table eats.
Yo, and that's the biggest thing too when working with a group. It's like everybody want to be the star player, but nobody want to play their role.
Mm.
And it's like, like you could just hold the door for somebody that, that's a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? And you making a huge impact by doing that. The world might laugh at you for holding the door, but behind the scenes, homie taking care of you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people don't be wanting to play their role, and that's what be pissing me off. Like, like it's just crazy. Um, so here go one of my final questions that I wanted to ask. When you gonna stand on business and stop doing these pay to perform shows, man? Like
Oh,
I'm tired of the
I've been stopped doing that,
disrespect, bro.
bro. I've been
No,
stop
right.
doing that, man. I cut myself from those shows off. Like at the beginning of this year, I cut myself from those shows. I don't pay to perform unless it's a genuine opportunity or it's a genuine move. If it requires real bread for me to actually like pop on and do something crazy, then I'll probably invest in it. But if it's something like, $20 at the door, $200 for like 5 minutes in an interview package, I'm damn those shows. I hate those shows. I'm done with them. That's genuinely it for me.
Yo, son. Yo,
Like
those be the worst ones.
I swear. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, because it's not even just paying for the show anymore. That's not even the part that pisses me off anymore. The
Mm.
problem is it be performing in front of the same exact people. Like, sure, some of them people are your peers and you want to show them what you've been working on and how you've improved. And you want to practice your craft and everything. That's fun as a newbie. But if if you've been in the game for some odd years, performing in front of the same exact people, and then some of the newbies, they come through and then they leave and everything, and you start performing with a crowd of people, a crowd of like 10, 20 people and everything, and the bar charging you mad bread and everything, and then at the end of the night you go home, you feel worse than you when you walked in. Fuck them shows. I am tired of it. I am sick of it. We do not need to be doing them shows.
Oh,
So I told myself, like at the beginning of the year, I am done. I am solely focusing on the big shows that I build for myself and the crazy shows that, sure, if I have to spend a chunk of bread, it's an investment because I know it's a big enough stage where no one knows me.
right. So do you run down on promoters? Because I do. I run
I,
down on
I
not in a disrespectful way, but I be letting them know, like, listen, man, get out my DMs. Like when they pull up on me at a show talking all that hot 250 for 5 minutes, get out my ear. Like I really be telling them I'm not doing this show. Like it's to the point where now people don't invite me to nothing that they know I'm not gonna pop out to.
mm,
And I started telling artists, if I can't buy a ticket and you don't get paid from it, I'm not going to the show and I'm not buying a ticket. Don't invite me, like straight like that.
real
And they
talk.
be mad at me. They be mad. Oh, why you acting like that? I don't want to support it. So
Yeah, I
I
don't.
rock with you. I rock with you, but I'm not supporting that platform. That's a dub.
Right. Like, bro,
Yeah.
if you're not making any bread off of it, or if this is not a show that you built with your bare hands, I don't want to pull up. And answer your question from before. Back in the day, my mother used to run down on the promoters, and that was hilarious to see. But yes, now I do run down on promoters to make sure that if I'm not getting paid off of this, don't invite me. If you making more money off of this than I am, don't invite me. If none of us are making money off of this, and there's a higher power making money off of this in the shadows, don't invite me. I'm done.
That's
I
a fact.
can't do it no more.
That's a fact. So yeah, man. It's been quite the time, man. You've been here. You've been chopping it up. I've enjoyed this interview. I'm not gonna lie. It's only because I be trying to cap it. My longest interview, by the way, was 3 hours. So I don't mind it going that far. Someone did bring to my attention when I was having a conversation. It was like, Sometimes maybe you should try to like, keep it at a certain time. I guess maybe it would draw more people in if you had it like at a certain time,
True.
or But I also, for me, it depends on the guests that I have as well too. The vibes just be too immaculate, so it's like I don't really pay attention to the timing 100%. But it was something that I did think about, and I was like, you know what? So as you can see, a lot of times I really don't care. Like I allow it to go over, but
The way I see
yeah,
it,
man,
a good interview comes from a good conversation, and this has been like one of my
100%.
favorite conversations.
No, I appreciate that 100%, man. It's definitely been one of my top guests for sure. So with that being said, and you had a lot of people tap in and show their support and love for you as well too. I think that's really, really dope. So is there anything that you want to like leave with the people that's watching, that's been watching, the people that's been supporting you from day one, the people that's going to see this that don't know who you are? Like, is there something out there that you want to leave with them?
Uh, as far as well, listen, I'm going to leave them with 2 pieces of promo and 1 piece of advice. Um, so on December 25th, look out for the deluxe edition of Brooklyn Butterfly, the Flutter. That's going to be coming out to all streaming platforms too. 10 new songs. Also look out for my clothing line, Jetson Enterprises. Is dropping the same day as the deluxe edition. As far as my
Oh,
advice, oh
oh,
yeah. As far
that's
as my
great.
advice, don't let anyone stop you from achieving what you want to do. If someone tells you that it's too crazy, it's too abstract, it's too out there, then those are the wrong people to have in your corner. No idea is too ridiculous. No idea is too small. No idea is too big. Always do what you dream about and don't sacrifice, the idea that you have just to achieve someone's just to achieve someone's agenda. Do the thing that you dreamed about down to the minutia of what the dream actually meant.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, yeah, man, Jay Jetson, man. It's been a pleasure, my brother. Always,
It has been
man.
a
Thank you for
pleasure,
stopping
bro.
by. Yeah, man.
Definitely been waiting for
Thank
this
you for
one.
sharing your story and all that, man. This has been a pleasure for real.
Thank you, my G. MC Reef, MC Reef, MC Reef.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, man. We definitely gonna chop it up, man. For real, man.
Yep,
Appreciate
we
you.
will. Appreciate you too, man. Deuces.
Thank you. Yeah. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to everybody that asked questions, left comments. I appreciate y'all 100%. For those of you that do not know, I do interviews every Wednesday and every Saturday. So I do announce the guests at some point during the week. So be on the lookout for that. If you guys like this interview, be sure to give me a follow. I have a lot of good interviews. I have a lot of great guests. And I'm just blessed to have them come on and share their story. So thank you guys for supporting, and I'll see you guys on Saturday. Peace.